So wait, is it just gonna be just the music is gonna start? Okay. We're not gonna do that when Jeff normally does.
My name is Jeff. My name is Jeff. My name is Jeff. My name is Jeff. My name is Jeff.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Oh no.
Jeff Ladella, make him holla, so fuck your credentials. You know they hate us. Lucas Meadows is just the essential. Saw your set, heard your jokes. It wasn't nothing special. Step on stage. If you're a bum, son, you're getting fucking heckled. You're getting fucking heckled.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
You're the most amazing guy.
My name is Jeff.
Oh fuck.
That's it.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
So wait, was that
Jesus.
is that it? Like, was that what we're gonna do, or are we gonna do it again?
Was that a
No,
real
that's
person?
it. We're in.
Was that a human being?
It's called AI, Dusty.
That was AI singing that song?
Yes, I took the lyrics to our opening song. Like I listened to it, wrote it out, and then found a free AI. It took me a while to find a free AI that wasn't in Spanish, and then I just plugged the lyrics in there, made it like a rap, and like let it go.
That's crazy.
Meta Uzas.
That sounds like
Lucas
a real
Meta
person.
Uzas.
That's cool. The Meta Uzis is cool.
It kind of is a better way to pronounce your name, I think.
Ooh, can you hear me? Am I good? Yeah, I'm good. Welcome everybody to Just the Essentials. A little explanation for the intro. Normally, Jeff does his little skit that I ask him every week. I literally text him every week and like, hey, you should think about, because he has the whole day off.
Yeah.
Maybe you should think about what you're going to say tonight for the intro, so it's
Right.
not just last second. He never does. But
He does, kind of.
no, he doesn't. He doesn't think about it at
A
all.
little. He shows up a little prepared.
But if by prepared you mean a bag full of beer, yeah, he shows up prepared.
I mean, he kind of knows what he's going to say.
But that was the AI version, which I think it's
Much worse.
it might be better. I think.
I think it's just refreshing to hear a different take
Yeah.
on it because we've heard it so many times.
Yeah.
So he kind of bombards people too. Like we don't tell anybody that he's gonna do this.
Yeah, Jeff does this
Like-
whole intro where he starts fucking talking, and usually the guest just sitting there like, "Wait, is this it? We're recording?
So,
What's happening?"
When you went to choose the voice that was going to sing that, did you choose like black man?
No, I chose rap.
I mean,
It
like,
that was
decided.
the rap voice.
Oh,
Rap-
it
rapper
decides the
male.
voice. You
Yeah,
don't-
rapper
Oh,
male.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, the reason we use it is because Jeff isn't here.
Yeah.
The first episode he's missed since we've started recording again,
Good on him.
which is
The special too. The one.
Yeah,
the
this is
first
like
time
the-
we do video.
Yeah, we got video.
That's
we're,
what scared him
we're at a
off,
different
bro.
We're
venue.
doing video?
Yeah, we're doing video. This is probably coming out either tonight or tomorrow. This is the election special.
Oh yeah, that's why Jeff isn't here. He's too busy registering people to vote. He's out there in the streets. No, I don't know why he's not here. I honestly think he's not here because he probably looked at how far
He
it
told
was.
us.
No, he's lying. He looked at how far it was on his maps, and he's like, I'm not driving all the way down there because Easton,
100%.
where James lives or lived, and John moved, is closer than here.
Okay, but he said that he got too messed up last night and then he didn't get any
Oh,
sleep.
well, I guess it was the first time in history Jeff's ever lied before.
No, but I'm saying like that's exactly on par for why he wouldn't like that. Totally makes sense.
But again, he had the whole day off
Yeah.
to recover from whatever he did to himself.
He's
Well,
lying.
he's getting
He's
older.
lying.
He's
He
getting-
either has a horrific toothache where his head is throbbing. He's told me that, and then he doesn't eat until the toothache just goes away.
Oh my god.
Or he just didn't want to drive here.
Poor Jeff.
Either way, James is here. I think you're the one who secured this venue, right? This
Yeah.
So
Yeah, my
this is
buddy
pretty cool.
Matt let me
It's
do
the
this.
Leisure Club.
Shout
It
out.
is. Yeah. Shout out to the Leisure Club and Matt for letting us.
Where is this? What part of Columbus are we even in right now?
We're in Old Town East.
This is Old Town East.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Technically Franklin Park.
Oh,
But sorry.
damn.
Perfect intro.
Wait, so what is this? Franklin?
Franklin Park
Franklin
neighborhood.
Park.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like the
'Cause the park's right
kind of
there, yeah.
southeast-ish side of Columbus, a little bit.
East side.
East side, not really south. Okay.
It's like the east side of downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah, near east.
I've never been to this Leisure Club place before, but you guys do like comedy shows and all kinds of stuff here, right? It's like a
The music
cool
events.
hangout, music events.
It's a private club. I think they have a coffee shop here during the day. It's like the headquarters of Garage Beer. So shout out to all them.
Yeah, cool spot. So thanks, James. Dusty
Yeah.
is here.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really bring much to the table today.
No.
You gave me a cigarette. That was cool.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
No, I got
Good producing, man. I mean, that's great.
Yeah. I got big election news. I'll drop after you introduce our guest.
Big election news. All right.
Yeah. You'll want to hear. You'll want to hear this. Believe me.
Oh, I'm sure I will. And our illustrious, is that the correct use of that word?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that word means. I just heard people say it when they introduce people. Our illustrious guest this evening is Walker Evans. Right? Said that right. Walker Evans.
Howdy.
Walker Evans.
Just not here, so I can't.
Yeah. I met you when I first moved back here to Columbus, so I feel like I'm the least, knowledgeable of who you are. I know that you threw the Columbus Comedy Fest, and you throw like a coffee, like a same sort of thing fest, like a coffee fest.
We do.
And
Other things.
Oh, you do other? What? You throw other fests? There's other fests going on?
I mean,
I'm unaware of?
other events, but Columbus Underground is the
Oh.
sort of the main thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're like, are you what do you say? Like the head or the CEO or?
I usually
Founder?
I go co-founder. Me and my wife.
Yeah.
Are
Oh,
business
nice.
partners, and so we're both co-founders. And,
That sounds better. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, it's a small team, so you
That's
do
how
a
we
little,
met too.
A little bit
right?
of everything.
Do you remember when we met? Like,
I know you were talking about the other day. It was some video shoot for something that Vital did,
Yeah.
probably 15 years ago.
right on
but
Gay Street, Gay and High. There was like a coffee shop.
Oh,
There,
you guys have known each other for like 15 years?
at least.
Oh.
Well, we
Wow.
probably met very briefly and then talked a lot more recently.
Yeah, more recently, we would run in the same kind of circles, but I was kind of like the guy doing video in those circles.
Yeah,
of those events.
for John D.
Yeah. Good times.
Dusty, what was your election news that you had that you were like couldn't wait to get it off your chest?
I believe I was thinking about it on the way here. I believe this is the first time in my life where I was able to vote, and I did not vote.
You haven't voted yet,
I didn't vote.
but you can vote tomorrow.
Look at this guy.
Oh, I thought it was Tuesday.
What?
Totally thought it was Tuesday.
I'm gonna come.
Damn, I'm out of it.
Why didn't you go? Why, if
That's-
you
you're the
thought today
most,
was
like-
Tuesday,
I'm undecided. I don't know what I'm going to do. I really don't. I don't know. What
You're the
not between Trump and Harris, but between Harris and Cornel West. I don't know what I'm going to do.
dude, that's a ridiculous thing.
Can
to
you
say.
write anybody in?
Yeah,
Like you can write anybody
you
in.
can write it.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I will vote. I'm probably not gonna vote.
Who are you going to vote for? Who are you going to write in?
I don't know.
You can vote for Kamala and then say you wrote in somebody funny. That way you can just keep writing that joke until it becomes funny.
Why wouldn't I just write somebody in?
So you don't care about the gerrymandering issue?
Oh,
What does that mean?
Shit, issue 1.
Yeah,
one.
you gotta
Yeah.
do that.
Is that close?
I don't know. I don't look at like Ohio polls, but
It seemed like that one
it's
was.
intentionally confusing.
What does gerrymandering mean?
Gerrymandering is dividing up districts to favor one political party or the other versus having
redistricting.
yeah.
So they'll go in and look at the houses that all vote Republican and then try to draw the district around
Yeah.
where they are.
You remember my Nina Turner thing where I went to Akron to knock doors? So
Yeah.
that was District 11 at the time. I think it's changed since then, but it was literally just a tiny little strip that went from Akron all the way to Cleveland through all like the worst neighborhoods, so that all their votes get counted as one and they don't matter.
Yeah. Crack them and pack them.
Yeah.
And this will take out.
This is why I don't vote. Why can't you just vote
well,
and have it be like, oh, this guy got 100 votes and this person got 50 votes?
Well, you're
Yeah.
grouped in. You're
Yeah.
grouped into your county.
No, but why is there? What's I'm saying? Why isn't it just like I vote in Ohio, and so my vote go, your vote, all of our votes are the same fucking thing. It's not districts. It's not.
Yeah. Well, so right now the way that it stands, the people that draw the maps are the legislators, and since it's run by the GOP, they draw all the maps, and so they draw them in a way that keeps them in power, even if they have a minority
Right.
opinion on a topic that's unpopular. You just draw the maps a certain way and you can win. You can kind of just game the system. So issue 1, if it passes, basically says the maps will be drawn by like a bipartisan group of citizens and not politicians anymore, to make them more fair, more representative of Ohioans.
I think we got here because in the past, if I'm saying this correctly, we did have like a citizen committee that had a say with drawing the maps, and basically the state just like took all their power away and didn't take any of their advice on anything and just did whatever the fuck they wanted. So that citizen group was kind of the driving force that started this whole thing in motion.
I think that's when Kasich went in too, if I remember.
Maybe, yeah. I don't remember the timeline, but like the way that Ohio draws maps has been found unconstitutional, and they're like, you need to do this better. And the Republicans are like, okay, fine, we'll do it better. Here's a new map. And they're like, no, that's the same thing.
Yeah.
You have to fix this. And they're like, okay, give us like 6 months. Okay, here's a new map. And they're like, no, this is still broken. You have
So
finally citizens have said, okay, we need to just take this away from them.
So if Democrats were in control, would they not draw all these maps to benefit them?
They probably would.
So,
So if issue 1 passes,
all the politicians
Yeah.
and put it into a group of citizens that just draw it fairly.
Yeah.
That have no interest, special interest. It's a conflict of interest, right? So like if I'm in power, I'm going to draw the map around all my friends.
Right.
Give me the most votes, you know?
Yeah, and everyone who's going to vote against you, group all them together, so their votes all just get counted as one and tossed aside because they get outnumbered.
The point is, just vote yes on one if you go in.
What's one? I don't know what that means.
That's the issue.
Issue 1, yeah.
What's the issue?
amendment, yeah, right?
Gerrymandering.
To like end gerrymandering?
Basically ban gerrymandering. Yeah.
Yes on one will ban it, and no on one
Keeps it the way it is.
keeps it the way it is, even though both signs say they will stop gerrymandering.
So then if I vote, you said yes on it?
You have to
Yes.
vote
So if
yes.
I voted yes on it and it passes, what happens next election? How's it different?
The maps will be redrawn between now and then. There'll be like a group put together to do all that.
Citizens.
And then you'll start to see the representatives at the state level become more, less GOP red and more like evened out, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it remains to be seen, but like still, like
Ideally.
not so overwhelming.
But like if I was sitting around the table right now with a bunch of super conservative guys, they wouldn't be saying this, correct?
Probably not. No.
Well, they'd be saying this, but they'd be saying that's why you need to vote no on issue 1.
Right. But, okay.
Yeah, they're in power, so they want to keep it the way that it is.
Yeah, just like our
Basically, yeah.
entire government pretty much right
Yeah.
now.
Does anyone know why it's called gerrymandering?
It sounds racist. The term, like, that's why I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
I thought it was like a minority thing, but
Yeah. So the first person to ever do this, I think, might have been in Massachusetts or something. But he drew the lines and did all this stuff. And, of course, it's whenever you see these shapes, they're like these crazy weird things. And his name was Jerry, or his last name was Jerry or something. And there was like a news article. This is in like the 1800s. And they're like, oh, it looks like a salamander. We'll call it a gerrymander. And so that was the first district. They're like,
Wow.
It looks like a salamander. And so the practice became known as gerrymandering because
That's
of
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Amazing.
How do you know that?
I read too much stuff. Wikipedia. I don't know.
That's crazy.
I drink and I know things.
so
So I guess I am voting tomorrow then.
are
Damn.
you
Yeah.
going to? Are you going to?
Yeah, I mean, I was fully planning to. I just had a day where.
How did you think today was Tuesday and that you missed
Dude,
it?
I just-
you're the most political person I've ever met in my life.
It's like I
So
just spent
annoying.
5 hours in another dimension. Like I was in a fucking void.
I mean, you get a girlfriend and you're just lose time.
Yeah, you're
You
like,
could tell me
"Here's-"
it's 2026. I'd be like, damn, that's crazy. Like,
It's pathetic, Dusty. You're the one, like that. Dusty texted me the other day, and he's like last night. Was it last night?
Yeah, it
Tuesday?
was last
It was
night.
like super late, and he's like, "Hey, sorry, it's late. I know it's late. I have all these questions, like all these political questions for you to ask or whatever." And I'm
that's
just like-
not. Come on.
That's literally what he said. I haven't pulled up here because he's
Read the
okay.
text. Read what I texted.
The
Read
text
word for
said-
word.
It said, "Hey, sorry, it's late. I'm sharing a note with you on the Notepad app. It's stuff that I came up with for Walker." And then he wrote the N-word in there for some reason. I don't know why he said that. Just wanted to share. He didn't say that. Just wanted to share so you can ask any of those yourself. I don't mind. Like, he's giving me permission. He's giving me permission to ask people questions on the podcast that I started.
Yeah.
Just remember
Thanks.
who wrote it.
Yeah.
I'm not like an overly political person, generally
Yeah.
speaking, either. So
Well, they
I'm-
weren't
I'm-
political.
They're all political.
No,
So I guess
they're
we're-
not.
Yeah. Where's the Linkus issue too? We can.
It's
talk
about his back.
that?
I said,
bus rapid
No.
transit.
Here's
What?
Wait, what?
There's an issue, like a local issue in Columbus for the bus rapid transit expansion.
Oh shit!
Link us.
I was
Yeah.
in
What is that?
Gahanna's district, so I didn't get to vote for that one.
We have a lot of political listeners to this, so they'll be interested.
All right.
in whatever you're talking about.
It's basically a levy to allow COTA to build out like 5 bus rapid transit lines throughout the city to make basically these high capacity corridors. I think like East Main, West Broad, Cleveland Avenue, maybe.
Why don't they build like a train, like a subway or something?
Because it's so
Inside-
crazy expensive.
And to where?
Well, I mean, they can go wherever, but
I mean, like just to start, it could go like up and down High Street or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
some sort of light rail thing.
yeah.
You know, like,
Well, the idea behind this, they're like, this would basically leverage and raise, it would raise a certain amount of money and then allow them to seek more federal funds, but it would be like $8 billion to build out these 5 lines. And they're like, if this were a subway or a light rail line for $8 billion, you can build like half of a line.
Oh, really?
It's like
Yeah.
it's that much more cost effective. But this also it's not just the bus system. Like it's talking about like sidewalks and bike lanes and all the other like infrastructure that would go in.
That whole thing where they
With it.
reorganize the lanes on the road and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it would be a bus that sort of operates like level boarding. So you walk up and like if you're in a wheelchair, you would just roll, or like a stroller, if you rolled straight onto the bus. So it's like a real nice bus. But I'm 100% with you. I'd rather it be a train.
would you use it though?
The bus?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
the train. If there was a train.
A train?
Yeah.
I would be more apt to use a train. Then.
is that on the levy or is that on the
It's,
ballot?
yeah,
this
it's
year?
on the ballot.
Oh, okay. What,
Tomorrow.
What issue is it?
I think it's in the 40s. It's like 47 or something.
47. That was actually one of my questions that I wrote down for Lucas to ask, and I actually told him before we started that he should just let me ask it. It's too nuanced, but
Go for it, Dusty, please.
like even I am guilty of, I don't know all the judges, all the councilmen when I go
Nobody
to vote.
does.
But isn't that the problem? I
Yes.
mean, and
Sure.
especially as someone who runs a local newspaper, like, don't you feel like we have to get everyone to care about those things before we're actually going to kind of the ground up building as opposed to like getting the right president and then building down from there?
Yeah, I mean it's more impactful at the local level because these are the people that you can go talk to if you have an issue.
Yeah.
You know, but getting people to care about anything.
No,
it's not
that's
just,
the thing. How do you get people to care?
Did you see that video on TikTok today though?
Uh-uh.
That's one. Yeah.
What was it?
I don't know. I'm just saying that's more
That's a joke.
important.
That's a
That's
joke.
more important than who's running for judge.
That's
or,
funny.
Yeah.
Right over my head.
But we so last year was like really transformational for city council here in Columbus because we went from the at-large system to sort of a hybrid like ward-based system. We have districts. We have 9 districts now, which we didn't before. And I was kind of excited. I'm like, this whole thing is changing, and for the first time, like every seat will be open. It's just kind of like the Wild West, and anyone can run for city council.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah.
And like nobody ran.
Really?
So there were 9 districts. I think like 7 out of the 9 people ran unopposed, and it was 6 out of 9 people ran unopposed, and the other 3 they had one person running against them.
Wow.
So there weren't even primaries. Because we have a bipartisan narrowing to 2 candidates for city council here in Columbus. So like if 18 people all ran, there'd be a primary, and you'd have to narrow down to 2, and then in November you pick 1 or 2. Wow. So like barely anybody ran, and it was like
There you
kinda
go,
So like
Dusty.
if
anticlimactic.
if like I had
Sad.
ran,
Get you a
could I
job
have
right
won?
there.
Yeah, I mean last year, but yeah, you collect enough signatures, which is not a ton, and then but you have to live within the district that you are running for. Where before it was you could live anywhere in the city and you just represented the city at large.
Man, I don't know anything about politics.
Most people don't. That's the problem. That's why we're
Yeah.
in this mess.
Yeah,
Because it's boring.
That's what I was. What my,
It's not like
that's what my point was. Like
but-
even I, who like I consider myself knowledgeable about politics and I talk a lot of shit, but I don't know who the fucking judge is. I should be. I
Yeah.
got him from my lawyer one time. He told me who to vote for judges, but like I don't know who. Like so, I don't vote on all those things. So I am a part of the problem, and I'm someone who people consider like politically active or whatever.
yeah. Well, but Columbus is fairly unique in that it's a very blue city. It's a very democratic city. Our local political electorate are very democratic centric,
Right.
and like everyone's pretty chill and complacent about that.
Yeah.
Like no one's really rocking the boat. No one's really causing major problems. People
Right.
can feel one way or the other about our mayor Ginther, but
Yeah.
like for the most part, everyone's like, nah, it's fine.
Yeah.
What do we want? A Republican in there? No.
Right.
We haven't had a Republican in city council or mayor in like 28 years or 30 years or something like that. Yeah.
Wow. So Republican mayor.
In the capital of Republican Ohio.
I think whoever was before Coleman.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on his name. I can see him. Super tall guy. They'll come to me in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take your time.
I didn't prepare. I didn't prepare for this.
Yeah.
Although I listened to several episodes, so I
Nice.
prepared for the podcast.
Did you like
How'd
it?
you feel? You were like, God, I gotta turn these off.
No, I liked it. James sent me the newest one with Tyson Colson.
Yeah.
I did not know he used to live in a laundromat. That was some
That was a long one. That was like an hour and a half.
Yeah, and then I went back and listened to the start of the season, like intro, and then I listened to Jesse and Henry.
Nice.
Yeah.
That first episode, it's like a little dark. Dusty was
Yeah.
trying to school me in like how I am when we were outside early before we started tonight. But he was like, when you came back, you were just like your life was spiraling out of control.
I didn't
That's
say that.
literally what you said.
I did not say
I was
that.
like, what are you talking about? I live in the
I
nicest
said-
apartment I've ever
I
had.
said
Like I
you
have
were-
more money than I've ever had, and my life is spiraling out of control.
I said you were in a downward spiral. I didn't say what speed or.
But
what-
how? But why?
You're getting too
I'm just
successful.
saying. No. You came back from LA, kind of had like a vibe, like your tail between your legs, like you know what I mean. Like you had not, like I failed. I'm back here in Columbus, and I was just trying to pull you out of it. Like, hey, fucking, don't worry about it. You're better at podcasting anyway.
You should be a therapist.
I mean, I don't see you coming back as failing in LA.
I didn't agree with what he's saying. He's just giving me. He's like, "This is you came
Ridiculous.
back with your tail between your legs," and it's like
Maybe
no,
it was
I didn't.
subconscious. Maybe you
I
didn't
came-
realize.
I came back with like intention. I came back with a plan. I came back with more money to start my life than I did when I moved out there. Like there was nothing bad about coming
That's
back
what
here.
I know. That's what you surmised. I was saying, like, creatively, you seemed like in a downward spiral, and that you were.
I mean, I feel more excited about doing stand up here than I did in LA. I mean, I feel more excited to like. I'm upset that I'm not upset that we're recording right now, but I'm just like, normally we are done around now that we started, and we go to do. James and I usually go to Bourbon Street and do the open mic there, and
yeah.
I like that mic on Monday, even if I'm going like last or like if there's nobody there, because it's just like it's a good vibe. I go up there. I usually always try to do new shit or something new or no material and just make fun of Ty, the host, just do whatever, whatever.
We're gonna make it.
Yeah, it's fun.
The background's too loud at that place. I told Ty the first time
No,
I
it's
went
good.
there. I said, dude, you need a black sheet going across the back so people can look at the comedian and not the fucking
Dusty.
David
Aren't
Bowie
you like
artwork.
a fucking drug guy, like legalize this, legalize that, and like Dusty's referring to at Cafe Bourbon Street in Columbus. The stage, the backdrop on the stage is like very trippy. It's like
a loud ass. It looks like a David Bowie album cover. It's like a big mural.
But that fucking
Well,
adds to
that's
the-
what shows look like here.
It
at Leisure
distracts. It distracts from the comedy. I found it very hard to focus on the comedian.
Dusty has terrible
Stop.
opinions.
Hold on, wait.
Yeah, hit him with a fucking
Terrible
something.
opinions.
You have a terrible opinions.
Shut up,
There you go.
silly woman.
Not worse than that guy.
Okay. First of all, it doesn't fucking matter. Like that place can be whatever, as long as the microphone is on and a speaker has the voice coming out of it.
I
Like-
offered to
like,
buy the fucking curtain and buy a wire and do it myself.
There's
and
no reason for it.
Okay.
There's no reason
Okay,
for it.
there is a reason for it.
No,
there's
there's
a
not.
reason every comedy
No
backdrop
one goes there to
looks the
watch
same.
comedy.
Well, it sounds like you're talking about making it a legit comedy
Yeah,
venue, and
an
it
experience.
sounds like it's just an open mic.
It is
Open mic, it's not
legitimately a Monday night open mic.
At a
That
bar.
place is not like. Have you
A
gone there on a
wire
Thursday or a Friday?
and a curtain.
Go,
20
go there on a Friday night. Just go.
I'm not saying you
And
keep
then you'll be like, oh no, we're not putting anything else in.
What
not
happens on
like,
Friday
like,
night? What's there on Friday
It's
night?
a fucking just madhouse of people, like packed
Oh,
in
yeah.
that place,
Yeah.
and no wonder the ceiling looks like that, and no wonder the bathroom's a disaster.
It's just like a punk bar.
Yeah,
I've-
like
I've
that's what
been
it
in-
is.
I've been in punk bands that have played there before. There used to be.
That's what I'm saying.
There used
Yeah,
to be
there's
a mirror
bands
on the
playing
wall,
and
and when
stuff.
my
I
band
know.
played there, people broke the mirror.
You guys
Yes,
are-
it gets
Yeah, you're not
trashed.
gonna hang a curtain in a fucking. In
You're
the open
missing
mic.
the whole. You put
No,
in.
no.
All right,
Okay.
look, this is a stupid
You
conversation.
put in wall anchors.
Can you hit him with a
point is-
something? Hit him with
Shut
a.
up.
Thank you.
Shut up.
Conversation's dumb.
Shut-
Walker
shut
is
up.
here. Walker, I'm really embarrassed that you had to witness.
No, that's totally fine.
Dusty's over here fucking talking about a curtain, bro. Like 5 minutes of. who
I'm on
cares?
one.
Look at this guy.
Do we have any Kamal? I feel like it's a little
You're
biased.
the most amazing guy.
You got to give equal time.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
That's better.
Do not come. Do not come.
Can you play those two back to back? I'm gonna come.
I'm gonna come.
Do not come.
Shut up. Silly
You gotta
woman.
stop.
God, James has a lot
Oh
of
my
time
God.
on his hands lately. I love it.
Oh my god, that hurt.
Yeah, Dusty's
Do you
got.
want the song?
Dusty's complaining about how outside. He's like, I can't laugh. I have
You
a cracked
think you
rib.
just fell out of a coconut tree?
Okay, that's too harsh.
You're the most amazing guy.
Oh my god.
Comes from China.
Walker's like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Look at this guy. Look,
I'm
look
almost
at-
like, why am I here?
Look at this guy. I'm gonna come.
This podcast is gonna turn James into a DJ. Watch, he's gonna stop doing stand up, stop doing the podcast.
I'm gonna get one of those boards with all the buttons on it.
Yeah, you're gonna wear you're gonna wear a mask like fucking what's that the one DJ
Oh my God.
Marshmallow. He wears like the mask.
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
can't see who he is.
I'll do that.
Yeah, by the end of this, he's just going to be Bumblebee from Transformers, where he just speaks in quotes.
Yeah, exactly.
Walker, so the listeners of the podcast, I guess get a sense of who you are and stuff because I don't even know who you are. You know, I met you at the Funny Bone when I came back here, or not. I had already moved back, but it was during the Columbus Comedy Festival,
Yeah.
which was the first one, and I think it seemed fun and successful to me. I don't know.
He's mad he didn't get booked.
I was on a show.
You were on a show.
Yeah, yeah. Shayna pulled you onto a show, right? Yeah.
So how many shows were you on, Dusty?
All of them. Yeah. No.
'Cause you were driving people around.
In the green room. No, just kidding.
I got asked about it this weekend because I have a fucking sticker on my phone.
Nice.
One of the comics was like, "Oh, when's that gonna be? You guys doing another one?"
Oh, yeah.
I was
Yeah, so-
like, that's the plan.
When was it this year? What month?
August 14 to 18.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
That's what the sticker says.
Yeah.
is there plans and hopes for a follow up?
Yeah. We've already started narrowing down dates and looking at venues, kind of the main venues. So for us at Columbus Underground, most of our events we kind of run in their entirety from start to finish, like the coffee festival. We produce it 100%. For the comedy fest, we wanted to, it's kind of create this sort of like hybrid event where we're running the festival as a whole, but we're just programming. We did shows for the first year at the Key, the Columbus Performing Arts Center, and Mad Lab. And then we had 5 different venue partners, and they were kind of on their own to do their own thing. So that was Funny Bone, Attic, hashtag The Nest, and Don't Tell. And then we compiled it all into like one big master schedule. So it was all promoted as one big festival, but
Right.
everyone was kind of doing their own thing their own way.
It sounds like a headache
Sure.
to manage all that. So that's why I'm like, thank you for doing that
Yeah.
because I think I've never done a comedy festival. I mean, I've been doing stand up for like 8-9 years, and I've never like submitted to any festival because like usually it's because I'm just cheap and you got to pay for them.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
Why would I pay and then not even get accepted?
Right.
I just assumed I wouldn't get accepted to any festivals. I'm just like, I'm not even gonna do it. But,
Yeah.
and I didn't think I was gonna be living in Columbus when I saw that the Columbus Comedy Festival was happening.
Yeah. We
I
did
kinda
we
moved
did
back
the
last minute.
the application process in like January. It's like mid January to mid March, so it was pretty far out in advance. Yeah.
But that's exciting that you're gonna do it again because I will submit
Yeah.
this year now that I live here and stuff, and I need to do that, more often, I guess, if I really want to take stand up seriously.
Yeah.
And now that I got a little more extra scratch, even though my life is spiraling out of control. I
mean-
it's the worst I've ever been. I'm
what I
practically
said.
homeless.
No.
Well, the one thing that we did do, like with the submission process, was that it all like went into one big pool. So like everyone that submitted, it was in one big database, and so we booked some of the venues that we did, using that list. But then also Hannah was pulling people for her shows from that, and Simon and you guys at Don't Tell were able to pull people from that list. So it was just one submission into the entirety of the festival.
Was there any? I don't remember. But there wasn't any like podcast shows or anything, was there?
I know that Ross was going to do his show, Ross Tyson, that does the.
Is that how you pronounce that?
I think I heard him say that. Yeah, because I always thought Thiessen is what
I always
it looks
thought it was
like.
Thiessen.
Yeah,
Me too.
I could be butchering it.
No,
Ross. So
that's
Ross
much easier to say.
was
We know
gonna
him.
he was gonna do a live podcast show at hashtag in the middle of the day, and he ended up needing to cancel it. I can't remember why, but I wasn't involved in. But he was doing that at hashtag. So, yeah, I'm trying to think if there was any
Do you
other.
have to like, for example, like if Just Essentials wanted to do some sort of live show at
Done.
the time, so would it have to be? Is there a submission for that, and how would the submission be?
No, I mean we just talk and collaborate. Like Eric Basso did the late night show thing, and that was like totally he wanted to do that, and I'm like, all right, let's figure out a spot for it and make it happen. And like Adam Little did a like a live video sort of piece.
Yeah.
So it was he was like showing episodes of Puff Palace, but then also like doing some sort of like director commentary.
Yeah.
I think Henry came out and talked about it for a bit. So yeah, I mean we wanted to have a variety of show types and stuff. So. In the submission process too, we had like one form for stand up and then one that was sort of like improv, sketch, variety show sort of thing. So like Drunk PowerPoint, which did really well, they submitted and wanted to do their show and we found a spot for them. But yeah, it's a very collaborative process. Like I love if people just come to the table with ideas, like it makes it easy, you know, cause I know what I like, but you know, the more the better. My taste in comedy isn't.
Well,
what
now that
everyone
you've said
likes.
this on this podcast, you're going to have 900 comedians hitting you up next year. I got an idea.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. One, especially like in the early years, year 1, year 2, year 3, like throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. I had like the Drunk PowerPoint show. I think it sold out. It was like 75 seater, but like
Right.
it did really well, and they had a blast, and they want to do it again next year.
Wow.
So yeah, the more the better.
What was your like? It sounds like corny to ask, but like, what was your like vision for that fest? Like, did it come out the way you envisioned, or was it kind of like not what you envisioned? Better, worse? Like, I mean,
Yeah, no, I mean, I think by every metric, you know, to like measure the success, I think it was successful. There's things that were going to change, and you know, I think we kind of shot for the moon with some of it. You know,
Right.
in hindsight, you know, Wednesdays were a little bit. Wednesday was a little light. The shows on Sunday
yeah,
were a
'cause
little
it
bit
started
light,
Wednesday. It was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
and Sunday.
and Sunday.
Yeah, so it's five full days, and so I mean, you know, getting people to go out on a Wednesday night is always going to be hard. But the shows on Saturday and Friday were the easier ones to sell.
Well, and I think the surprise too is like early Saturday too. Like stand up on the spot. I think that was what, like 4? or
Yeah, it was a
something?
matinee show. It got added pretty late in the process.
Yeah.
So,
But it's surprising that like people came out to it.
Have
and, like,
any of
yeah.
you guys been to any other comedy festivals? I haven't.
I've not either.
I couldn't like. I've been to a ton of different type of music festivals. Like I've been to like, you know, like 3-day music festivals that are all in the same venue.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
to Austin for like a music festival. It wasn't South by Southwest. It was like a punk South by Southwest, and the Columbus Comedy Festival reminded me of, like the music fest I went to in Austin. It's like at a bunch of different venues.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I did like about the music fest I went to was there was like the main fest with all the main bands and like the shows at the different venues, but then there's a bunch of like secret after party shows
Yeah.
and after party this and that, and like I think that would be kind of cool. That's not really on you as the Columbus Comedy Festival. I think that'd be on like Columbus comedians to like get together and be like, let's do, you know, after the festival. Like if the Attic did like a super
I
late
did an
night
after-
spot.
are you
No, but
joking?
not
No, yeah,
not
but
a
that
party,
was
like-
advertised to the
not a-
public.
yeah,
too.
not-
Oh, I
Yeah.
see what you
not
mean.
a party, just
Yeah,
like
like a VIP.
just like secret shows that are like late into the night, and it's like X-rated show, like super offensive show or something. You know what I mean? Like just like something like to
Even
make it
in-
exciting that it's like a
Even
secret
an
show.
apartment
Yeah.
show or something.
Yeah, or an
like
apartment
that,
show
yeah.
or a house show. Or
I
something.
would love to see that like
Yeah.
grow and everything. And so I used to run these events downtown called the Moonlight Market on Gay Street, which was like a retail sort of shopping event. We're trying to get people to come downtown, trying to solve this chicken and egg of like, you ask people why they don't go downtown on like nights and weekends, and they're like, well, everything's closed. Everything closes at like 5. And you ask the businesses like, why don't you stay open after 5? And they're like, well, there's no one down here. So we're like, let's just line the streets with like street vendors, like pop-up vendors, people
Yeah.
that make coasters,
Yeah.
cool stuff like that. Throw up like some musicians, some buskers on the sidewalk and stuff like that, and just, you know, tell all the business to stay open late. That's the one night of the month. You know, we do this on a monthly basis.
Well, Columbus, we've been notorious for like no downtown nightlife, shuts down at 9:00, going like all the way back.
Yeah.
And now that there's all these condos and like Columbus Commons,
We need
and all
it,
those,
yeah.
So like,
and you're also basically describing what Gallery Hop used to be. Like
Yeah.
what Gallery Hop in the Short North
well,
was
and,
supposed to
and
be.
Gallery Hop, the focus was always on art originally,
Right.
and we wanted to focus on retail because when City Center left, you know, there wasn't a lot of retail shopping downtown. So we're like, let's line the sidewalk with like tens and tables of people selling stuff, like local crafts and people who make things, make soap, make jewelry, whatever. And it grew and grew and grew. I ran it for 10 years before passing it off to another group. I just did it as a volunteer. But after like the 5th or 6th or 7th year, people would come down, like they wouldn't apply. There was like an application process, so we could make sure you're a legit business and not just selling like burned DVDs or whatever. But like there was the first time I know, kind of. Well, so
like a bootleg DVD tent. Better than soap. You're like talking about soap vendors.
Selling watches out of a trench coat. But these like 2 young women came and like set up a table, and I saw them, and I was just like, "Hi, I'm the organizer. Like, who are you? Like, I didn't have anybody set up here." And they're like, "Oh my God, we got caught." I'm like, "No, it's fine that you're here. Like, this is the coolest thing in the world."
Yeah.
We used to have this guy who would come down. Like, I didn't even invite him. He would set up an easel and do like al fresco painting. He would like paint the scene on the sidewalk. And I'm like, we have like a little bit of a budget to pay artists and musicians to be here. Like, he's like, "Oh no, that's cool. I'm just here to do my thing." So like seeing the little things pop up in the years afterwards, I think with the comedy festival, if it spawned different after parties and shows that weren't a part of the lineup, but people could find out about them. Yeah, that sounds awesome to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like, I went to that music festival in Austin, Texas twice, and I went to a very similar fest in Toronto, where it was like over the weekend, spread throughout the city. And it's just like, it's way more fun than a festival. It's just in one venue, and like you go there for 3 days, and like sometimes there's not like you can't get in and out, so you're just like stuck in the venue all day long.
Yeah.
The Toronto one and the Austin one, it's just fun to like go around the city, and then when the shows are over at night, you know, everybody still wants to keep partying, which there was after party and you can do that, but also if you want to keep watching more comedy and, you know, whatever. And like Dusty and I were talking out front about, you know, weed is legal now in Ohio.
Yeah.
So it'd be kind of cool to have like after party spot where you can go and there's, I don't know, like kind of like a hookah lounge vibe.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that was our after party, just not on the record.
I went to the mansion here in Columbus is like after party spot for the fest twice. And the first night I went, I think it was either Friday or Saturday, and it was like Jersey Shore vibe. Like every guy there had like tight shirt on, tan, tattoos. It was like fist pumping. And then I went like the next night, and it was just comedians.
Yeah, it went through some weird phases, the after party. But it ended.
I didn't realize it was open to the public. That's like the first time I went there, I was like, who are all these like MTV people? Like, what the fuck is this?
Well, Josiah, who I don't know if he owns the mansion or he's in the process of buying it, whatever. He throws like the stuff there. He runs Spilt Social, which is a lot of like, you know, like up and coming, like entrepreneurial type people within the city and all that. So yeah, it was like a lot of those type of people that he brought out, and I guess they showed up super early, and there was a couple of comics that came that I talked to later from like out of town, and they were like, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah.
They were like totally blown away. But I think it ended on the perfect note because the final night was like all comics. We had karaoke going in the one room, and then Sam J showed up, and she had like a special VIP room like that no one else could get into for her and her people. So we did kind of have like that VIP after party kind of vibe, but also had like all the local comics involved too in the same house. So I thought it was perfect.
How bad were you itching to get into that VIP spot?
Well, I was in there with her.
Oh, you were just in it?
She's friends with.
She's Dusty's what's up?
We had a mutual friend.
Nice.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Look at this guy.
Is that Trump?
Perfect.
Yeah, no, that whole experience was awesome. I'm really okay. I guess I'll stop there. I just
Walker, are you from Columbus?
I grew up in Marysville, so like right outside of Columbus, but been in Columbus proper for a very long time.
Did you go to college here or something?
I started at OSU, and I lasted like 2 quarters, and then dropped out, and then ended up going to Columbus State.
Columbus State.
Oh, nice.
Rocking the shirt.
Cougars.
Yeah, go Cougars.
That's interesting. Most people go to Columbus State first, and then they go to OSU.
Yeah. I kind of went the other way around, but and then went to Franklin for a little bit after Columbus State. I got my associate's degree there, and then went to Franklin, and I got about a year into it, and then our business was kind of starting to take off because we started Columbus Underground kind of as a, you know, just like a side gig hobby kind of thing in like 2001.
That's when Columbus Underground started?
Yeah.
Is Columbus Alive still a thing?
No.
You guys kind of replaced that.
I mean, I wouldn't put it that way, but
you were alive too, right? Wasn't that your thing? Or did you do that with other people?
No, the Alive was independent for a while, and then the Dispatch acquired
Yeah.
it. I forget what year that was, in like 2010 maybe, 2009, 2010. And then the Dispatch slowly kind of chipped away at it. And then once the Dispatch was sold to Gatehouse and Gannett, I mean, they've just been stripping it for parts ever since.
Yeah.
There's barely anyone that works at the Dispatch anymore. But they moved the Alive to an online only thing and kept it going with like 2 writers, and then finally shut it down entirely.
So you and your wife started Columbus Underground in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
And was it like online only at first, or print?
It's always been online. Yeah, we've never done a print version. Yeah, it's always been online. But it was just something fun we did at the time because we didn't see a lot of the things that we were interested in. Music and movies and comedy and just like fun things to do in the city. What bar has a cool happy hour sort of stuff, like that wasn't in the Dispatch.
You have the weekend thing too. where you-
Mega weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like that's.
like here's 30 things going on this weekend. Go check
I've
the stuff
used
out.
that so many times.
Nice.
Honest- I mean,
my
just
wife
genuinely.
puts that together, so
Yeah.
I'll let her know.
That's,
How do you
great.
like know all this stuff, like the things to do? Do you guys go out and find it yourself, or is
Some of it, I mean, we have a submission form, so people put their events into our calendar, and so that
Oh,
helps
nice.
build out a lot of it. But yeah, Ann will sit down like on Thursday morning and just kind of start scouring things, and she flags things throughout the week, so she can kind of come back to it and put it all together. But yeah, it's a thing. But yeah, for the first 4 years or so, it was just something we did for fun, and then we started getting some local businesses approaching us saying like, "Hey, could I buy an ad?" And we're like, "We should set this up as an LLC and then sell some ads." And then treated it as a part-time thing for about 2 years. And then I started doing it full-time, I think, in 2007. And then she came on full-time in 2010, and then we've hired a couple people since then.
When you hired people, was it like to start like kind of a specific wing of it, or like a political wing, or you know what I mean?
they're not gonna hire you, Dusty? If that's what this is getting to. Eventually, it's gonna get around to I was looking for. They're not gonna hire you.
I can't remember who we brought on first, if it was a writer or a salesperson. I want to say writer, but we have 2 full-time staff writers. We have like 30 freelance writers that do a lot. Some of them just write like once a month. Some of them write twice a week, depending on the beat. And then we have 2 full-time salespeople who sell advertising and sponsorships and things like that. And then we have a full-time events director. So she Danielle Hackworth. Shout out to her, talking about the comedy festival.
She's great.
She did a lot of the heavy lifting for a lot of the things.
Hit her with a
For Danielle.
There you go.
Hey, yeah. But yeah, so like, I guess just to kind of share this too, about a decade ago when we started doing more event production, we kind of saw a lot of journalism going in the way of like paywalls and subscription models and things like that. And we kind of realized like, do people really want another $10 a month, $15 a month subscription to something, or is there something else we can do? So we decided to pivot to event production. So the events that we do, like the coffee festival, the money that we generate from that, we then use to fund journalism year round. So it helps to offset, so we can keep the news 100% for free. You don't have to pay anything to read any of our articles. It's all accessible by everyone. And so then we just happen to a reader and say, hey, come spend $20, come drink coffee all day, and know that like helps to fund things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The downside of the comedy festival is that we didn't make any money this year. We paid everybody what they were promised to be paid. Like we paid all of our expenses.
Yeah.
And we kind of like zeroed everything out. So next year,
Did you expect to?
we were hoping. I mean, we had good crowds. Like I got all the numbers from all of the venue partners, and there were over, it was like 5,500 tickets sold, like across the 5 days, across all of the venues.
Wow.
That's the worst time of the year for comedy too. Like
Yeah,
in a way, like ticket
August,
sales
right?
dip.
August?
Yeah,
August.
it's sunny out. Everybody wants to be
Sure.
outside and stuff. So
There was that critique, but also like we weren't competing against other comedy festivals, so we're able to get talent.
Well, and-
when they weren't.
Is there like a time where most comedy festivals take place? I don't
There are
know.
calendars online where you can just see the whole spectrum of everything. Like we wouldn't want to try and do it the 2 weeks where Netflix is a joke is happening in Los
Right.
Angeles, because every comedian in the country is in Los Angeles for those 2 weeks.
yeah,
And then also for our perspective, the events that we do, it was a good time because we do a dessert festival in January. We do a apartment tour event in May. We do our coffee festival like end of September, beginning of October. So August kind of fell good for us internally.
well,
too.
and I meant by selling that many tickets, that's a lot of tickets to sell.
Yeah.
like that's great. is
The
what I mean.
problem
Like,
was we just stretched it a little too thin. Like if we had
Yeah.
done half the number of shows and had that many tickets, then every room would have felt a little more full. So
Do you think you're
lesson
going to
learned.
do less days this next time?
I think that's the plan, and we kind of put that out there. We did a survey to all the comedians to sort of say, like, give us your feedback sort of stuff. And some of it was just to confirm, like, if we tighten it up and just, like, kick it off on Thursday and then just really focus on Friday and Saturday, maybe do, like, a Sunday brunch thing and just do that, like, would that be good? And everyone's like, yes, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So we'll probably do something like that. And then, you know, we'll do fewer shows ourselves with the venues that we book, but really leave it up. You know, if Hannah at Hashtag wants to do 18 shows or 10 shows, that's entirely her prerogative. And
Right.
whatever she decides to do will be in the calendar and we'll help promote it. Yeah. But
Yeah.
we'll probably book less people. It just, you know, we had some nice sponsors that like came on board, like White Castle and, you know, some different groups, GCAC, the Gateway Film Center.
Mikey's, right?
Mikey's, yeah. So it was kind of nice to have like a little bit of a cushion to be able to just say like, hey, let's invite every single comedian that we like to come to this thing and make sure that everyone gets paid. And then at the end of the day, it was like, oh, we didn't make our money. Whoops.
Well, I think it worked well overall. I mean, all the comics that I interacted with seemed like they were having a good time.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Which I think is a good part of that, like
Sure.
showing off the city. A lot of people haven't been here before.
Yeah.
I mean, and we get that with Don't Tell too, where a lot of comics have never been to Columbus before.
Yeah.
They
Well,
like it.
and a lot of the bigger headliners, you know, like Ian Fidance, I'm sure has been here before. And,
Oh,
he,
yeah.
and he probably did the Funny Bone. So
Yeah.
he probably flew in, stayed at a hotel either by the airport or at Easton. And his limited interaction was like walking around. It's like maybe he got Jenny's out at
Oh
Easton.
no, he was on Don't Tell.
Oh, he's
We
on
were down in
Don't
the
Tell,
short north
Yeah.
and
Well,
that
I'm just
Bud
using
Dairy,
him
but
as an
yeah.
example
No,
of like, yeah, a lot of times their interaction, if they're coming in, is with
Yeah.
our one comedy club,
Right.
which is at a mall. You know, and the Funny Bone's great. You know, I'm not talking crap about it, but you're not getting an experience of what the city is,
Right.
unless you take an Uber to the Short North or campus or something, or German Village and go to the Book Loft. So we tried to make sure we worked with a hotel partner, Sonesta. So shout out to them. They gave us a great deal to put all of our comedians like right downtown, so they were walking distance to venues.
Really nice hotel.
Yeah, and we had Will Hancock, who Simon Fraser put me in touch with to run transportation, so no one had to pay for Ubers. I mean, none of the headliners had to pay for Ubers. Locals had to pay for Ubers. So they had rides to and from the airport, to and from the venue. We gave everybody like gift cards to go out to eat at like Du Amici and Barcelona, Cameron Mitchell restaurants that kind of gave us some gift cards. So really just wanted to like have them come away from it being like, oh, Columbus is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that was the goal. Treat
I
them
was
nice.
I was with the LA comics that whole time, and they had a great time. They loved it. They
Awesome.
thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Shane is a great ambassador to the city too.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, she was great. I mean, we were talking really early on. She was the one that was like, I want to bring this crew. I want to bring Saul. I want to bring Hermoz. You know, and I'm like, okay, yeah, we'll build shows around that and do whatever you want to do. Yeah, Shane's great.
Yeah, it was good to see Shayna, and I knew those guys from when I was in LA too. So it was fun it was interesting to see them out here. Like I went to the Don't Tell show that Saul and Hormos both were on. It was at that like mattress place or something.
Yeah.
And that was the first Don't Tell show I've ever been to. And I walked in there and
It's a great spot.
yeah, Hormos, like I've seen him at the store, you know, like, and he does great. But like at
Yeah.
that venue at that Don't Tell, he like killed. He was just like, it was like people were like scream laughing.
Really?
You know, like, it
I
was-
heard that he did really well. Yeah.
Hormos too. I saw Hormos at, I think it was a Don't Tell, because it was like the mattress shop, and
Yeah.
he fucking murdered, dude. It was so funny.
Yeah,
I was
I mean,
like
he was-
howling in the back of the room.
Yeah.
He was on fire, and it was because I saw him at what other show? Oh, at the show that I was on, the LA one. It was like the LA showcase at, at the Key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had a good set there too. But just that that Don't Tell. I don't know, that vibe there, and that it's like a secret spot. You know, it's like in the back, and like it was cool. It
Yeah.
was fun.
That was one of your buildings too. That the mattress place.
Yeah. With the Moonlight Market event that I used to do, we had people who wanted to do like have an indoor space. So we got like some grant money through that nonprofit to renovate a brick and mortar space. So that building was in like terrible shape. So we renovated. But the joke was that as soon as the renovations were done, it was like April 1st of 2020.
April Fools.
Yeah, April Fools, the whole world just shut down. Here's the keys, start paying rent.
Oh, man.
Like it didn't go well. But it got the space renovated, and then the mattress store moved in there, and yeah. Otherwise, that
And now we're doing comedy shows.
and now you're doing
out
comedies.
there.
Yeah, I went to a show there a couple months ago, like over the summer.
Yeah.
It was when Jason Banks headlined, but it was Alex Dragovich was there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at that
Dragovich
show.
was good.
Yeah, because if not for that grant and renovation, that'd probably just be an empty retail spot downtown.
Right.
Just boarded
James,
up.
how does Don't Tell like look for venues? How's
Dorothy gets on Google Maps and drags a little person around.
that? And then you just like email and ask them like, hey, can we do a
Yep.
comedy show in your back?
Yep.
Your backspace.
Yeah.
It's kind of it. I mean,
You guys should do something at Used Kids, the record store.
people will submit too, so they'll come to shows and they'll be like, I have a business and stuff like that. You know, and then there's just a lot of factors we look into, like how big the space is, how easily we can get in and out, what's parking like.
Is it
you know.
BYOB versus liquor license on
Yeah,
site?
because we prefer BYOB a lot, but it just depends on the venue. Is it a cool vibe? Like, I mean, we just did this like wood cutting lumber place where this guy just makes these like incredible tables and custom.
Is that the place in Franklinton?
No, it was in Lewis Center, but it was just like he makes these like custom cabinets. Like he had this thing that opens that has like a humidor in it, and you open this other thing, and it's like got whiskey and stuff inlaid, and it's made to go in the back of a Land Cruiser, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But we're doing a Don't Tell show in front of like all this wood and like this big canoe. And
That sounds like a
that.
distracting background.
Yeah.
No, it was really interesting.
Can we get a black
Yeah.
curtain for them?
Yeah,
Mr. Black Curtain over
Dusty's fucking
Full circle.
interior decorating.
This is the election episode. Should we touch on
Well,
politics a little more?
I was just gonna say I have Dusty's little stupid list of questions that he wants me to ask.
I already did the one I wanted to ask.
I've
so-
been working secretly. I've been working this whole time I've been talking to you. I was working on his first question, which was his background, where he's from, where he studied, mentors, how he got started in journalism and entrepreneurship. He just like wants to know all this stuff so that he
Yes.
can try and get ahead in life.
That's
That's
well.
so then the next goofy ass question he has on here is the story behind his name, Walker, if there is one. That's why
It's
is
an
that your question?
It's an interesting name. I figured maybe
you,
there's a
thank
story
you.
behind it.
Look at this guy.
It is an interesting name, but I guess I just didn't think there'd be a story behind it. But maybe you're right. Is there a story behind Walker?
I guess, yeah. So there's you probably
Family name?
You probably know the photographer, maybe or
No.
not. So there's a famous Americana photographer, Walker Evans. He did a lot of photographs like in the Dust Bowl during like the Great Depression.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not named after him.
That's just the guy that exists.
Yeah, but people put that connection together. But there's also an off-road Baja truck, or I guess I should say was. I think he's retired, if not passed away. Very old guy named Walker Evans, who did like endurance racing. You know, like
Yeah.
2,000 miles
Yeah.
through like Baja, California in a truck.
Like that
where you
David Goggins guy, like a fucking extreme runner, where he just like
Oh yeah. I was
But he
thinking
did
of
it in
Walton
a
Goggins for a second.
Baja truck, yeah.
Yeah, but so we already had the last name Evans. My dad was like a fan of his. I'm like, oh, that's a cool name. So they gave me his name.
Named after a Baja truck driver.
wait. Oh, it's
Yeah.
a truck driver, not a runner.
Yeah, a truck driver.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
a truck racer, I guess I
Yeah.
should say. But anyway, years later, this was probably like 2000-ish. There's a website. It's walkerevansracing.com. I'm sure it's still around, and I'm just screwing around at my job at the time. A lot of time to kill online. And they sold T-shirts, and it says like Walker Evans Racing. It's a cool like lightning bolt logo, and I'm like, I need this shirt.
Nice.
So I'm trying to buy it online, and it said it was out of stock, but there was a phone number to call, so I call it later, and it rings, and this voice is just like, hello, and I'm like, yeah, I'm calling to see when you're gonna get your T-shirts restocked, and she's like, what? And I'm like, the website, Walker Evans Racing website, it says T-shirts. She's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, they're out of stock. Let me take your information and I can get back to you. What's your name? And I'm like, well, my name's actually Walker
Funny you
Evans.
should ask.
Yeah, she kind of I'm like, it's legit my name. My dad named me after the racer. And she's like, oh, wow, that's so cool. He just went to the store. I'd let you talk to him right now. And I'm like, oh, shit, I'm talking to the guy's wife.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Never got a call back. Never got the T-shirt.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So, did your father want you to be a racer?
I don't think so.
That's good.
I don't know.
I mean, are you?
A racer?
Yeah.
No, not.
I wasn't sure if I'm.
Man, what a dumb question.
I wasn't sure if on the side you were.
No,
serious
I mean
with your
my dad
claims.
always worked like he worked for a company that put together the conveyor systems in automobile plants. Hence, growing up in Marysville and Honda being out there, he worked for a company that worked for Honda. So he was always like into cars and motorcycles and like building vehicles and that sort of stuff. And I'm just like, no, I'm going to ride a bike and drive a car as little as possible. So,
Right.
so I'm the black sheep.
Do you have siblings?
One brother.
Is he more of a racer?
I mean, he's more into that kind of stuff, trucks and motorcycles and stuff. They all live in Alabama, and well, my brother lives in Louisiana, but my parents are in Alabama.
Why'd they move down south?
It's where my mom's originally from, and they had land on a lake down there. So, literally the day after I graduated high school in Marysville, they all packed up and moved to Alabama.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
I lived down there for like that summer, and then I'm like, get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Not living in the middle of nowhere. Did you guys watch the show Ozark?
Yes.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Great
How
show.
it all kind of took place on that like lake community in the deep south.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's where they live.
Oh, wow.
Like that kind of like it's a big ass lake. Anyone from like Birmingham, like people here would go to Buckeye Lake for maybe like a weekend.
Right.
It's like that, but much bigger, and like people go down there all summer to blow their fingers off with bottle rockets and
Sounds like fun.
jet ski and drink on the
Sounds like a
lake.
good place for a comedy fest.
Yeah.
There's nothing else going on down there. Yeah, it's like that and Walmart, and there's nothing down there. So it's a nice place if you want to just screw around the lake for a couple days.
Do some bass fishing.
Yeah, catfish.
Catfish?
Do some noodling.
Noodling?
Yeah.
That's scary, man. You can like lose your fucking fingers doing that.
I don't think they really have teeth, do they? Catfish.
I don't think they have teeth, but like some of those big ones, right? They can like clamp down on your hand and like, I don't know.
I'm not a noodler. I don't know. I don't even like fishing.
Yeah.
I'm just like, why do you have to fuck with the fish? Can we just enjoy the nature? Do you have to kill stuff? You know what I mean? It's got to be some.
Do you eat fish?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, well,
Someone's
got
gotta catch it.
Someone's got to. It's not just it doesn't just grow in the ground.
Do you eat cows? Do you need to go kill a cow?
if there wasn't somebody to kill it for me and put it in a store, yeah.
You would not kill a cow.
Dude, it would
If
definitely
I
be
had
fun.
to. What do
You would
mean?
look it in the eye and kill it.
If I had to, if like a matter of starving to death, of course. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Do not come. Do not come.
Is anybody here actually
Hamburgers.
genuinely nervous about the election tomorrow? Like the outcome?
I think Trump's going to win.
Did
landslide.
you vote already?
No, I always go day of because my wife is a poll worker, and I take her a bubble tea
Oh,
in the
okay,
middle
yeah.
of the day.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
Little break. It is insane that like because we're both 44. She gets there at like 5:30 in the morning tomorrow to set up and doesn't get home until like 9 p.m.
Damn. Yeah.
That's hardcore.
She's like the token young person.
What does she
though.
do? What does she do there?
Like everything. I mean, like help set up at the beginning, basically check people in when you go in and give ID. She sits at the table and kind of does that all day and then helps tear down at the end of the night, clean up and everything. But
Is that all volunteer stuff? You get paid to do that?
you get paid, but it's like $100.
Yeah.
For
And
like,
you get accused of fraud by President Trump.
well, I mean, here on the Near East Side, like it's pretty tame. Like there's not a lot of Trumpers storming the King Arts complex. But it's just insane to me that like the average worker in this is like a 75-year-old retiree.
Yeah.
Like that's a long fucking day for a 70-year-old to commit to. But
You know what's crazy? Like, probably the main reason they do it is no one else will do it.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Not like no 21-year-old's gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna go do this.
yeah,
I'm not going to take part in democracy.
yeah,
I felt good about it when I voted.
yeah.
You already voted?
Yeah. I always go early though.
Who'd you vote for?
Huh?
You going to tell us who you voted for?
I don't have to say.
You're not a journalist.
Is this a swing
No.
state? What does that mean? Swing
We're
state?
not a swing state anymore.
No, I mean, but there's a possibility she could flip Ohio back.
So Ohio's gonna go Republican no matter what. That's what that means. If it's not a swing
It's-
state, you have to talk about politics to me like I'm a child. I literally
Oh,
don't.
that's fine. I mean,
Wait.
my understanding is like child plus. So
we gotta get
more than me.
James' vote. What was your vote?
he wrote an RFK.
Yeah. No, he was still there. No,
Where's the RFK
Kamala.
quotes?
yeah. Where's the RFK button?
All the static. All the static.
The
all of a
thing
sudden.
about Donald Trump is I love him. It's going to put me in charge of CIA, NIS, CDC,
That's
FBI.
close. You're getting close.
Do you
I
think,
got it.
Do you think if RFK didn't sound like a drive-through worker and a speaker, that people would have actually liked him?
No.
I think that's part of it, though. I think that does not help.
part of it, yeah.
That doesn't help him sounding like that and then talking about like worms in his brains and like running over bears and all this stuff. It
Yeah.
does not help.
But then,
quote-
but then also being like the health guy.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to tell you how to be the healthiest person.
I can do 20 pull-ups. Yeah.
I mean, he
in
can.
jeans.
He
He
can
is
do
ripped.
pull-ups though. Like
As Howard Stern so astutely said, he told us that the worm ate his brain, and I believe him.
He should
I
have
also
lied.
think that guy dude has had probably the most ridiculous fucking life. You know what
He's
I mean?
a Kennedy, yeah.
That's what I'm
Sure,
saying.
yeah, yeah.
Like he's never had a
Work?
yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not, no.
To answer your original question, I'm not like super nervous about it. I mean, I hope Kamala wins and everything is fine, but also like
What do you think's going to happen, though?
I don't know. We were talking about this the other day.
You have no
like,
prediction?
No, because I mean, all the polls say it's pretty neck and neck, and it really just depends on like 7 states going one way or the other.
Yeah.
That
Until
Iowa poll was good for for
Yes.
Kamala. She
And
was up by 4 on that poll.
Did you watch or read about that one pollster, the old dude that's like predicted all the elections, and he has like the switches? The
Someone
switch
else was
system?
telling me about that, yeah.
Yeah, I watched some video about it. He basically has like, I can't remember how many it is, like 16 predictors.
Deciding factors.
Yeah, and it's very binary. It's like yes or no. Is this switch flipped? Yes or no. And some of it's like is an incumbent running? Yes or no, and that's a deciding factor. Is the economy doing well right now? Yes or no. Is the U.S. actively engaged in a war right now? Yes or no. And it's these very like binary things. And he can say if this number of switches gets flipped, then a Republican wins. If this number gets flipped, it's Democrat. And by his prediction, Kamala wins. And I guess
Right.
he's used the system to predict like every election for the past 40 years.
I hope he's right.
and he's been right.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's interesting. I mean, I don't know how much stock I want to put into that, but
my thought was just that like I felt like Kamala was going to win. I feel like she's going to take the swing states, and it's mainly just because people are, and John Oliver even said that, like the people are just fucking tired of listening to Trump.
yeah.
Like the majority are just sick of hearing about it,
Yeah.
and hoping that it'll just go away after this.
The one thing that I
but-
would bet money on happening is whether or not whoever wins, Kamala will have more popular votes.
That's actually something we talked about the other night. Is I was saying now I think this might be like the first election where like the general population in America has an easy access to vote, like bet on who's going to win and then go vote. So unlike a football game where you can like, you just pick, you don't get to vote on who wins. Like I think there's going to be a lot of people that might not even want to vote for Trump, but might just put money on him or whoever, either candidate, and then just vote trying to win money. I think it might be a real thing. I mean, there's over 1 million people that have already bet on it in
Look
America.
at this guy.
So then, if what you're saying, like people are going to do that, bet and vote and all that kind of stuff.
It's the first thing.
Is voting even that sacred anymore? Why are people giving
Oh,
me shit
God,
for not
no.
voting?
Well, I mean, you should take part in your democracy because
But isn't not taking part taking part?
if you're in protest, but we can. Here's the thing, dude. Everybody is being a baby about politics for 50 years. If we all show up and vote, we can have a revolution tomorrow, literally, but we won't. So it's our fault.
Yeah, I don't know if apathy is the right
That is the right word.
solution.
That's the word for what
I mean,
we
if,
have.
if you feel like things are fucked up, I think, just being like, well, I'm just not going to do anything about it.
right, and then there was that woman in Georgia who said that like because she was Muslim and she was voting for Kamala because it's the party that like even though they don't agree with a lot of the things that they're doing, like at least that's the party that's willing to change and listen to the people,
Yeah.
as opposed to Donald Trump who doesn't fucking listen to
The really sad thing to me is, like, in my opinion, Kamala is not going to do anything. She's saying all the right things, but she's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Trump will get in there and he will do something, and it's going to be way worse than Kamala doing nothing. I mean,
Sure.
that's to me the fact of the matter, and that's
What do you
a
think Trump's going to do?
sad state of affairs. He's going to
If he
give
get in.
he'll give another huge tax cut to the richest people that don't need it, which will make us all have to struggle way harder. People below the poverty line.
He's going to impose all these tariffs that he's talking about. He'll probably add a couple more, terrible judges all across the country. To
Were
all
you
kinds of
Oh
guys-
yeah,
positions.
the Supreme Court judges are probably the worst.
Was
All,
everybody-
all the judges.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that like his stuff has gone sideways in, is it the Georgia case? Is it because
Yeah, because
Cannon?
he's gonna put that judge as the head of the see, I'm too stupid to even know what the
Secretary or
head
something,
cop
yeah.
is. What's the head cop?
Secretary. Is it a secretary
it's
or
a
no?
DA or something. I don't know. Whatever.
Was
I'm fucking idiot
everybody
now.
James
I'm
Dusty
glad
Walker?
everybody tuned in for this.
Oh, the attorney general.
The attorney general.
Sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
Were
yeah.
you was everybody here worse or better off when Trump was president? Like your life-wise, financials, whatever.
I will say the first 18 months he was riding Obama's economy.
That's it. Yeah.
Obama handed him a great economy, and so the thing is like the president doesn't control everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I mean the progress that was made under Obama with in regards to those sort of things, and Obama had to overcome the recession, the Great Recession as well. Things were riding high for a while, and then COVID tanked everything, and it didn't really matter who was president at the time. Like the economy is going to go upside down when there's a global pandemic.
Right.
You know, so like I think people are really willing to forget like how bad things were during the pandemic for most Americans.
I think a lot of people.
What did he?
Not counting the million that died.
I think a lot of people credit Trump with that because he stripped a lot of our government and shit for parts because, you know, oh, we're not going to need that. You know what I mean? He was like very much just looking out for his buddies and that's it, and not the American people at all.
I mean, I would say what has changed. And you're saying like the president doesn't really have that much power, but people used to be able to just get an abortion. And now we can't.
Sure. Well, I was talking more economic. But like, there's no lever that controls gas prices that the president's pumping up and down.
Well, we're always dealing with the previous president's.
Well, and I would say this, like, he didn't go there organized at all. Like, he had so many empty cabinet seats. And, like, but this time around, he's not going to go in there disorganized. And they're going to really dismantle a lot of shit that is, like, fundamental to us working. And, like
what? What are they going to dismantle?
Like they've talked about dismantling the Department of Education and restructuring, like if they're going to put Kennedy at the head of all those health agencies and the FDA and stuff. Like, I mean, what the fuck is going to happen?
That's been sideways for a while, though. I mean, we've had the head of Monsanto at the head of the FDA. We've had the head.
I'm not saying it hasn't. Okay,
we've had Exxon executives as the head of the
things can't get worse.
EPA.
Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like somebody in there who would actually pay attention and like, I don't like Kamala either. I don't like the way she went in, and I don't like the way she got in. And
would you have voted for Biden if he was still? Like, because when when Biden was running, I was like, Trump's gonna win. Like this,
100%.
That's what everyone.
He would have crushed it.
Yeah, and now that Kamala's in,
we should have had a Democratic primary, and I mean, there's other shit too. Like they pulled Tim Walz out of fucking nowhere, and I fucking love this dude, and like
he's likable.
Where the fuck has he been?
Yeah.
Like, why hasn't he been running for president? Like, why hasn't the Democrats pulled somebody out good who, you know what I mean? Like,
well, they always want to play it safe, and I can understand apathy when you feel like you want to elect someone of this party to actually make change, and they move the needle like an inch. You know, they do good, but it's nowhere near enough. Like, you need someone really a lot more radical in there if you really want to make, like life-altering changes for the betterment of...
What are you supposed to do if you don't believe in the system?
That's a good question.
Well, I mean,
I like the whole fact that you're like, that you said that Kamala's gonna win the popular vote. No matter what, whether she wins or loses. That doesn't make any sense to me. That right there, when I hear that, I'm like, then why are you voting? Voting like it's like if everybody, if like all of our friends, everybody we know, most people in Columbus are like, we want a Democrat. It's still gonna go Republican because that's who the Electoral College is, right?
Yeah. So we need to get rid of the Electoral College.
Technically, though, like
so if we get rid of the Electoral College, it's just a vote like homecoming queen and king. Like, I would 100% vote every time.
And even that, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Electoral College doesn't have to do what our votes like. They can.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we can all be like, we want this person, and they're like, fuck you guys, we want this person.
Yeah.
So.
The problem is that, like, I think Democrats would be in favor of doing things like that, like getting rid of the Electoral College, granting statehood to D.C. and Puerto Rico for the sake of, like, national elections and voting and
100%.
representation. They just need, like, a super majority across, all these different branches of government to be able to enact these things. And everything is always constantly at, like, 49-51 across everything, and nothing. It's all just, like, deadlocked.
Our government, like, it should be education, healthcare, military spending to make sure we're safe, FDA to make sure the food's safe, EPA to make sure the water's safe. That's it. Our government is like New York from Flavor of Love. It's out in the front of the club throwing its
smaller
shoes.
Government.
No, I want a government that knows its role and is boring. The fact that they're out there and our politicians are screaming about abortion and transgender and every issue, which abortion obviously important, transgender important, but they're not talking about anything important that our government should be doing just as a basic function like every other government in the world. Like, here's your health care, here's good schools.
Yeah.
Here's our army in case someone tries to invade. That's really all they're supposed to be. Like, that's it.
Well, it's a distraction tactic.
Yeah, that's why I say they're like New York from Flavor. Like, they're doing everything but just running the government. It's fucked.
Yeah.
So you should vote.
Sorry.
You should get out there and vote.
Yeah.
It is important.
No, I mean, I understand the apathy, you know, because when you look at the polls and it's like, unless another 50,000, you know, Ohioans vote blue, then it's going to go for Trump and he's going to get all, 17 of the electoral college votes for Ohio. So like, it doesn't matter. But also, like, I want to vote on issue 1 and issue 47.
That's the thing. I mean, if you're
those
not into
things.
the presidential thing, like, at least there's local issues that are important.
Now, if you're in a state where you know, like, Trump's going to win, would that make you vote, any of you, make you vote for a third-party candidate or be more inclined?
I mean, it's not
No.
going to get those third-party candidates to
No,
Well, just to get them a
no,
percentage.
because the third party doesn't have enough organization behind it. Like, Kennedy might have been able to pull something off. Like, he had enough momentum going in the beginning, and enough people liked him in the beginning. Enough people in my social circle were like into him, and that was before a bunch of crazy shit came out. You know,
Well,
But
he also had funding. Most people that are running third party.
that's the important thing. And he also was a big Democratic family with a name behind him, and like you need like Jill Stein, Cornel West, love them to death, love their ideals. They're not going to get 8% of the vote. You know,
Do you know what that number is that they need to get federal funding in the next election?
I don't know.
I think it's like 10 to 12. I mean, but it's a substantial number, and they're never going to make it. But both parties keep pushing down on them. I mean, and that's why they don't.
I feel like Democrat and Republican is just two sides of the same coin. And unfortunately, I'm saying that because
Not
I've
this
hated
time.
people that said that for a long time. And it's just hard for me to believe anything else other than abortion and like a couple of things.
In some ways, yes, but in some ways, no. I listen. There's a great podcast. It's like an episodic podcast from Cunningham is her last name. I think at the Washington Post did this. It's called Presidential. Did it a couple years ago, but it's 45-minute episodes, and it's going through each of the presidents in the history. But instead of talking about like what they did as accomplishments, it talks about who they were as people. And her like default question, she interviews all these different like biographers, that have written books about these presidents, and the question she always asks each one of them is, if I met up with this person for a blind date, like, who am I meeting? Is this person shy? Is this person the life of the party? And like, it's really interesting. But the big takeaway that I took from that, like listening, because I didn't really care that much about American history in high school, but revisiting as an adult and kind of going through the years, you start to realize like, oh shit, they were talking about like getting rid of slavery, like from the beginning.
Yeah.
It took 75 years to get to the Civil War, and there were debates, and like I think it was John Quincy Adams was like famously censured when he was in the Senate or the House or whatever because he would not shut up about getting rid of slavery.
Great miniseries on HBO, by the way. John Adams.
Yeah, well, this was John Quincy Adams, his son.
Oh, the son.
Yeah,
Got it.
but
Well, his dad was yelling about it too.
I'm talking about the Nepo baby.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, even before that, his dad.
Yeah. But it's just wild to put into context, like, because we focus so much on like what's happening day by day and minute by minute,
Right.
that it's like, eventually we'll have universal health care. And it's gonna take 40 fucking years to get from one to the other, to get there. But like eventually it will bend in that direction, and I feel confident in that. And so I think that's what keeps me from being too apathetic, is knowing that like if we can all just keep pushing that boulder up the hill, like eventually it'll get there, even if it's unsatisfying to know like, I voted today and it didn't make a difference in this part and this part.
You don't think Citizens United could, potentially ruin our government completely to where, when you know that any rich person can come into your district and win an election with $100 million or whatever at any time, it kind of makes you feel like what's What is the point?
Yeah, there's a great, I don't know if any of you follow Dan Toomey, comedian. He does a lot of like political video stuff on YouTube as well.
Was he in the festival?
New York. No.
Oh.
But he just had a new video on like dark money groups and super PACs and everything. So if you want to be depressed, watch that. But he's funny as he talks about it, but you're like, Jesus Christ. Like the amount of spending on these like groups where it's like untraced money and it's all, I don't know, it's really fucked up. Yeah.
Do you, Walker, do you think if Trump wins that like something bad's gonna happen, or do you just think it's gonna be 4 years of like bullshit? And
I don't think it's going to be a reverse January 6th if that's what you're asking.
The immediate like riots in the streets.
No.
They did it last time he won.
But like, there's always some sort of like
I was mad when they did
civil
that.
unrest somewhere when somebody wins, right? I mean, like,
Yeah, because we were doing
protest
like
gets out of
real
control.
protests, and then they were protesting. I'm like, what are you protesting? The outcome of a democratic election? Like, what the fuck are you You're
Yeah.
invalidating every protest before you.
Yeah, but we in America we love to just like set cars on fire when like a sports team wins.
Yeah, no
and the people that think about politics like sports, I mean
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess it was more that kind of vibe, more than a protest. It was
Yeah.
more of
do
just
you think there's gonna be something
Flipping.
big this time? I mean, it seems to be like
I don't think anything like that. I think it's going to be 4 years of just a lot of little bad shit all the time and everyone feeling awful and people who are not like us, just white people sitting around a table.
They're
like,
not like us.
you know, like my perspective on like how my life would change under another 4 years of Trump is very different than like a single black mother in Mississippi.
On the other side, if Kamala wins, do you think the right is gonna show up in the streets and start a bunch of shit?
I don't think they have the. I don't think Trump has the juice as like
No?
he did 4 years ago. I think a lot of his most hardcore followers have fallen off. If you watch like the attendance at the rallies and
Yeah.
like the numbers are dwindling and like I think a lot of people are like I'm kind of
How do
tired of
you-
this.
How do you know what is like fact and what's not? Like when someone's like,
You
I
don't.
fact check that, but it's like, yeah, but how is your fact checking any different than this person's fact checking? What? Like at the end of
Sure.
the day, like you do choose to believe who you want to believe.
The worst part, honestly, I think, is misrepresenting facts. So, like, facts, but it's misrepresenting the whole point of, like, what someone's trying to say. And I think that's what happens more than, like, false information is real information, but it's presented in a way where it gives you the complete opposite idea of what's actually happening. It's so confusing.
No idea what you just said.
I know.
Yeah.
That's the point. That's the whole point of it.
What was your question? How do you know
How
what's
do you
real?
know who's right? I mean, it's like
Well,
you
with-
can
with-
watch CNN, they say something. You watch Fox, they say something. I know there's other news outlets, but I'm just
Yeah.
using like the left and right like news outlets as an example. It's like how am I supposed to know as like a average person that works at a fucking grocery store doesn't like really pay attention?
I think if you take in enough of it from enough of different like resources, you can kind of start to see like where the things are. Because if it's just like numbers of attendees at a rally, like you look at a photo, you can be like, oh, these bleachers are empty. The top up here, you
so
know.
like, if you listen to Trump, he's like, we have tons of people here.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, he's not a news source,
Right,
So
right.
I don't
Well,
believe
right.
a goddamn thing he says.
I mean, like, or Fox.
Unfortunately,
Fox
he
will say that
is.
they have a
He's
lot of numbers at these rallies. So,
Yes.
like, then if I go, how do I look to see how many people were actually at that rally? Is there a way?
I mean, probably look at what NPR or the AP or a more like neutral news source. There are websites that will give you like the matrix, the breakdown of like the political bias of the individual news sources, and just kind of keep away from the stuff that's on the far extremes on either side.
I love that Lucas is like, I need the facts of political. How many people were
Well,
at that rally?
is there a way? I'm not gonna
No,
ever do that.
I know what you're
Is there an
asking, yeah.
actual way to know the 100% truth of what's going on
No,
either side?
No. I mean, even, you know, like, so our friend and former politician, Travis Irvine.
Yeah.
He's, you know, gone to some rallies and he does like some man on the street interviews and you watch him, his videos are funny and you're like, wow, he's talking to all these like crazy Trump people at a Trump thing or whatever. But then you have to like think, you know, as people who do, you know, editing for a living, he cut out all the boring interviews.
For sure.
You know, these are just like the 5 craziest people he talked to. Is
Right.
that a 100% representation of every single person that was at that event? No, by no means. There's probably a lot of just regular, normal people at a Trump rally, but you're just seeing the clips of like the crazy ones.
Yeah.
So you have to just contextualize, I think, sometimes. Like, yes, these crazy people are legit and they're there and they're real. Are they 100% of the crowd? No. Is it fun to see them being silly on a video?
I think
Sure.
the only
There's
reason
that,
you
like-
vote for Trump is you're just misinformed. I'm not going to say an insulting term, but misinformed, or an anarchist, because you see that as the fastest way to burn the whole fucking thing down. And then
I don't know about that.
no,
No, I mean, people who vote for Trump still have their. I mean, they just have a different way of viewing things.
that's what I'm saying. Like misinformed.
You know?
Like
I mean,
they think they're voting for good Republican moral values. You know what I mean? They don't know what they're doing.
I don't think that's the case because my
No.
parents are both registered Republicans and they're not voting for Trump, and they didn't vote for Trump last time. Like,
Good.
they hate Trump. And
That's good.
And so
Yeah.
I don't think I think people who vote for Trump are like.
Misinformed is a blanket that covers all that. Like you don't have to insult them.
Well, I think what you're saying, like, I think the people who are most fired up about Trump, they're mad at the way things are, and they have legitimate reasons to be upset, but they're placing the blame in the wrong thing. You know, they're mad that, like, just the cost of living across the board is out of whack. And whether
Right.
that's rent or mortgage or to buy a car, or to buy a gallon of milk, or to buy gas, or to buy a Cybertruck or whatever, everything costs too much. And they're like, well, it's the Satan worshiping Democrats because that's what Trump said. So I got to go
Right.
vote for. And it's like, no, it's Jeff Bezos and it's Elon Musk and it's Mark. They're the ones that are fucking our lives up. You know, it's the CEO of Kroger that made like $100 million in a bonus. You know, Biden didn't raise the price of chicken. It's all these, it's the meat cartel in America. There's like 3 companies, pick an industry, airlines, hotels, food, like, there are 3 companies that run each of those industries.
Yeah.
Like we have these out of control cartels everywhere that need completely broken up. I'm using cartel in like
no, you're
the
fine. I mean,
the non-drug version.
I
of
just saw the thing about the airlines, like they were
Yeah.
talking about in the 50s, like the airline.
Yeah.
There were 78 airlines,
Yeah.
and now the way the airlines stay in control is they basically own parts of the terminal.
They acquire,
And-
yeah, and
and
like
like-
Live Nation with the tickets and the owning all of that stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's gotten out of control.
To me, it's give the mafia credit where it's due. The mafia did that. They controlled our government. This is no bullshit. The mafia controlled our government the same way corporations do, and corporations took their playbook and put them in jail.
That's why I'm voting for the mafia this time.
I'm just saying.
voting for Tony Meatballs.
It's the
this
same
time.
thing. The mafia came in and bought the politicians. Now it's just the corporations buying the politicians. It's like
Yeah.
there's no real big difference.
I forget the exact stat, but it's something like 90% of all of the like mainstream media outlets are owned by like 6 companies.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
insane.
They should all be broken apart. We need Teddy Roosevelt. Get him out of the grave.
Well, and what I meant by
Have him
like
start busting some trusts.
what I meant by like misrepresenting facts is like people like Republicans that say I don't want Democrats because they're going to raise my taxes, but they don't understand like yeah, Republicans say I'm going to lower your taxes, but they're only talking to the top, 1% or whatever. They're not going to cut taxes for like the lowest people. Maybe they will for like 1 year, you'll get a little bonus or something, and then after that you're just going to get fucked. You know what I mean? That's all they do. But you know what I mean? A Republican, what they need to understand is we need to raise taxes, not our taxes, but in general, we need to raise them so we can pay for social programs.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
He would never approve that message.
No, not at all. But yeah, I mean, that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about journalism. When the Dispatch, which was one of the last holdouts, it was a family-owned newspaper. Like it was 6th generation. The Wolf family owned the Dispatch here in Columbus. They finally bent and sold it to Gannett. No, I'm sorry. They sold it to Gatehouse in 2010 or whatever I said earlier. And then Gannett and Gatehouse merged. I think Gannett, which is like the USA Today brand of newspapers, there was the number 1 largest newspaper operator in America, kind of consolidated with the 2nd largest one. One of them had like 12,000 employees across the country. The other had like 10,000 employees across the country. They merged. 18 months later, they were back down to like 12,000 employees.
Wow.
So basically, in the span of like 18 months, we lost like basically the equivalent of 100 newspapers worth of journalists and jobs and editors and all that sort of stuff.
That's insanity.
Yeah.
But we gained a bunch of Uber drivers and Instacart people. So, I mean,
Yeah.
people still work.
Sure. Yes.
And then you got radio, you got local radio, local TV, like that's all disappeared. Those were fucking huge multi-million dollar, billion dollar
dude,
industries.
they only reached the airwaves, and bro, we're entertained.
They're disappearing. I think all the big major news stations like CBS New York, like they've all like sold off to iHeart or whoever.
We're
Yeah.
not selling out.
Yeah.
We're just going to Spotify, iTunes, and
Have you watched videos of the like Waymo vehicles, or did you see those when you were in Los Angeles? I don't know if that was.
they were in
The
Arizona when I was in.
self-driving?
Yeah, the self-driving.
What's
yeah.
a Waymo?
The
Oh,
Waymo's
self-driving.
we saw those in Phoenix too.
Yeah, there's
they're
like
crazy.
3 or 4 cities they've been testing them out in for the past, I don't know, year or two. And they just announced they raised like $12 billion to expand to Austin and Atlanta. So they're popping up everywhere. And the goal is to get rid of the Uber driver. You know,
Right.
that's the biggest expense
Well,
for Uber is paying drivers.
In LA, they had those self-driving Uber things,
Yeah.
and they had the food delivery robots.
Yeah. They're
Those
everywhere.
things just going up and down the sidewalk.
That
Yeah,
was,
they're all over OSU. They're
Oh,
like
they have
on campus. They've been there for years, but they
Oh.
don't go off campus. But in Los Angeles, they're just like on the sidewalks and stuff, right?
Well, they're only in like Los Angeles,
certain
Hollywood area. Like
Sure.
I lived in the valley. They were in the valley. But
Right.
you know,
Andrew Yang took that a step further. He was saying the semi-truck drivers are going to be out of jobs soon, and that's why we
Oh,
need
yeah.
paid for our data analytics that they make money off of.
Yeah.
As soon as they make fucking chicken robots, I'm out of a job too. So. Rotisserie chicken robots.
How many of those fireballs did you have?
But you remember when the scooters arrived? The
Yeah,
little
yeah. Oh,
e-scooters?
yeah.
Like just all of a sudden one day they were on the street and the app was live and it was like go.
Yeah.
And the city had to respond like, how do we, what sort
What
of
do we do? Yeah.
regulations and legislation do we wrap around these things? But basically the companies just dumped them on the street and said go. You know, like someone's gonna get hit and killed.
The
But
Wild
they
West
care.
out
Yeah.
here.
The-
we were going up and down the middle of the street. And it was great.
My prediction is within the next 18 months, like something like Waymo or some other competitor to Waymo, because there's a couple of them, will arrive overnight in Columbus. It'll just be
Wow.
like these vehicles are here, go.
And all these people are out of jobs.
Well, not immediately, but
No.
yeah. But the thing is, there's a great video. This guy Eddie Burback on YouTube did a great like analysis of this. But he was looking at the cost, and the whole thing is like, oh, if there's no driver, you should be paying less, right?
Nope.
No, it's
Nope.
way more expensive.
It's either the same or like slightly more expensive. They're not passing the saving on to the customer.
We checked the price in Phoenix, and it was significantly more expensive to
Really?
get one of those fucking things. And
yeah.
we were like,
But that's probably just like for now, because I think people look at it as like like a ride. It's like you're going on a ride at fucking Universal Studios. Like,
But the prices have only gone up on those things. The scooters,
Mm-hmm.
Uber, delivery services, like they can eat the cost up front because they're flush with venture capital. They get $10 billion and they can just roll things out and lose money year over year over year. A lot of these companies lose money, and I don't know if Uber is in the black yet or not, but they can lose money for a decade.
Right.
And eventually figure out, and a lot of it's just raise the price.
yeah, get people hooked on the service at a lower cost. and
Yeah,
then-
those
and then-
scooters when they launched, I think it was like $1 to unlock and 15 cents a minute or something like that.
Yeah, it was
And-
super cheap.
and now it's like $2.50 to unlock and 80 cents a minute. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
They're
nuts.
not going to cut the CEO pay. We know that.
Yeah.
I got my card shut down because I unlocked like 4 of them in a row because it had me and the kids with me and stuff at the time. So we're just like zipping all around.
I
get out
don't
parked
ride
and
them very often, but every time I do, when I'm done and I park it, it immediately comes up in the app. It's like, how was your ride? And I give it like 1 star, 0 stars, or whatever the lowest thing is. And they're like, oh, we're so sorry. We'll give you like a $5 credit toward your next ride. I'm like, yeah, fuck these things.
do you have the scooter app on your phone, Dusty?
The what app? The scooter?
scooter, any
Oh,
of
I
it,
got
any-
all the scooter apps. Yeah, you know me.
Dude, you bit it one time.
Dude, that's why I have a cracked rib. I wrecked on a skateboard. Like, what am I doing on a
that's-
skateboard? I'm
We're
40.
talking about scooters. That's not why.
Dude, I got broke on a scooter. I ripped half my face off on one of those
You
scooters.
tried to draw some parallel to your little cracked rib story, and it had nothing to do with what we were talking about.
It's
You're
the
the
same
most
thing.
amazing guy.
I wrecked on a skateboard. I wrecked on a scooter. Yeah, that's totally different.
Yeah, it is. You don't. There's no skateboard.
Most of
rental.
our
We're
guests,
talking about
most of our guests takeaway from the show is why are they so mean to Dusty?
good, and you know why? Because every time I start to be mean to Dusty personally, like you should be, keep it private.
Like
he
you
goes,
should be.
"No, save it for the pod, man. Trash me on the pod," and then I do, and then you
That's
whine
not-
about that.
That's not what I say.
Do you guys handle like blood and guts stuff?
I don't. I'm not a faces
Like,
of death guy.
Yeah, what you got? Some gnarly video. What is this? Is this your head?
Yeah.
What did you do to your head? Walker's
Is that a
showing
Lime
us-
scooter?
Is this happening to you
I
on a
don't see
scooter?
it. I don't wanna
Show it
see
to the
it.
camera.
Oh,
Show it to the
shit.
camera. I'm used to saying to the
You got it
listener like
stapled
describing it,
together.
but we got videos to now.
I crashed my bike. One of the few times I was not wearing a helmet. I was riding with some friends. It was kind of a casual thing, and this Canadian goose like came out of nowhere, like attacked my bike. and hit the front tire.
Really?
Yeah.
So wait, you're riding along, just
Yeah.
having a good old time.
Singing
Good old
his
time.
song.
And
Yeah.
a Canadian goose comes like running at you.
Like suicide bomber.
at
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. It was like in the spring, so they all had like babies and stuff. There were others like on the trail we saw, and they're like hissing. This is on like the Olentangy
Yeah.
Trail. We were ironically we were close to the
I'm
Wexner
sorry I'm
Medical Center.
laughing,
No,
but
no.
I love geese.
I
So I'm
survived.
kind of
yeah.
conflicted because I like.
What did
too.
you do? What was your?
motherfucker?
Exactly. I hit it, and I mean, I have a street bike, so the tires
my
the tires
God.
are like a half an inch.
When you
wide.
hit it, did you like hunker
his-
down? Like, okay, we're
did his-
hitting this thing.
Did his neck get wrapped up in the spokes?
Did you like try to avoid it, or were you like,
no,
fuck it? We're
but
just.
it was full size. So, I mean, it'd be like hitting a small dog. It's
Yeah.
probably like
Yeah.
20 pounds or whatever.
Yeah, it's good eating.
So you braced yourself.
Yeah, and I wobbled immediately, and then I like flipped over the handlebars, and I landed mostly like on my shoulder and kind of like rolled, and then I snapped to my head, and it hit the back of my head hit the asphalt.
Oh.
Did you get knocked out?
No, I didn't like see stars or
Did you get up and fucking kick the shit out of that goose?
it was gone. I don't know. Like yeah, that
Was
would
it
have been.
dead?
I didn't see it anywhere.
It
Like,
just disappeared? It disintegrated?
that, or I knocked it into the
Are
river
you sure
or something.
you hit a goose and not like a small
we
child?
had like 5 friends with me, and they all saw
He
it.
took the hit.
But yeah, if I would have put my hand down, I probably like would have broken my wrist or something. So, but
So you
I
felt
felt
like
like I was bruised internally from just kind of dumping on the ground.
Were you like bleeding a lot or what?
Oh yeah, head wounds bleed
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a mofo.
I split the top of my head open when I was in like 3rd grade.
Yeah.
One of those the pull-out beds, like the couch.
Oh yeah,
Pull-out
yeah,
couch?
yeah.
Yeah, you can like pull it out, and then the end is still up, and you have to kind of like push the end down.
Yeah.
We were like under the bed, but the end was still up,
And
playing
it-
like Nintendo. We like built like a fort.
Yeah. Did someone jump on it?
My sister jumped on
Oh,
the bed,
shit.
and the end fell down and like split my head open.
You want to know how bad of a comedian I was? I used to have a joke where I said, I love pull-out couches because the last thing I need is another little couch running around.
that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
A little love seat. A little love seat. running around.
Horrible. Yeah, a little love seat,
I
exactly.
busted my head open too one time though.
Doing what?
I was doing a backflip
Were you a street performer?
And then a goose came out of nowhere.
yeah.
into JC Pool. And instead of jumping in the water, my head just bonked on the side of the where
Yeah.
the water hits.
Oh, I've seen those Twitter videos.
Boom.
Yeah.
Man, I just remember like there was this really gorgeous lifeguard that I had a crush on.
His name was Brad.
Tyrone. And no, but she I'd never had the courage to talk to her, and then next thing you know, like she's holding my bleeding head in her lap.
This,
Oh,
this
no.
was the fucking Sandlot. That's the
Yeah,
Sandlot
it was
scene.
wild.
Wendy Peppercorn.
Mouth to mouth, please.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
You were squints.
So you ran over a goose,
Yeah.
I like
and,
that.
and it wasn't there.
I didn't see it. Yeah,
Were
it was not the first thing on my mind. Like,
right.
yeah.
Were you like concussed or anything, or like out of it?
No, I mean, I stood up. I had this friend who had like a fanny pack with like all kinds of medical supplies, and he's like, "I have needle and thread. I can start stitching you." And I'm like,
You always need a guy like that.
"Yeah."
with
He
you.
was like kind of excited
Yeah.
to treat an injury, but no, I had like 2 T-shirts on, and I took one of them off and kind of like wrapped it on my head, and I like rinsed my head off with like some
Did
water.
you cry? Did you cry? You can be honest. We're not recording anymore. You can be
I don't
honest.
think so. I was more just like freaked out because it was just like pouring blood, So I'm
Yeah.
just trying
Yeah.
to like, how do you?
Were you going like, fuck, just like screaming?
Was your wife with you?
No, I was with like 4 friends.
That's what I do when I wreck. I just scream obscenities as loud as I can.
Were any
I probably did.
passerbyers like, "Oh my god"?
I don't think there was any like right around where we were. It was like kind of the first nice day to go ride. It was like in May or something.
Where was it?
We were on the Olentangy Trail. We started,
okay, yeah.
well, so the whole thing, we started up at like the Worthington High School, and we had ridden like 8 miles down to like OSU. So we
okay,
were
yeah.
we were like south campus, like by the hospital.
Yeah, you're cruising.
You said this was like the first nice day, like spring or whatever.
Yeah. So it was like 50 degrees outside. But I kind of got the bleeding to like simmer down, and friends are like, "Do we ride back and like get a car and come get you? Do we call an Uber?" And I'm like, "I think I can ride back slow." So I rode the 8 miles back to the car,
Real trooper.
and then went home. And I told my wife, like, "Hey, I fell and hit my head." And like, I can't see how bad it looks. I'm like trying to take photos with my phone and like
Yeah.
look on my phone. I'm like, I need you to like pour some hydrogen peroxide on my head, like over the bathtub. And so we went upstairs, and she's like trying not to throw up. She's like, "This isn't gonna cut it. We're going to the urgent care or whatever." And they were like, "Yeah, you need staples."
How many staples? They
I think it was 6 or 7. Yeah, but they're like the skin is so thin on your head, like stitches don't really make sense. So.
Yeah, mine got stitches, but that was back in the 80s. So
Yeah.
they did that.
Do you think guys? You know how guys have like the pack of hot dogs on the back of their head? Like guys with like big fat rolling heads.
Yeah.
Sideways, yeah.
They can probably take a fall or hit better, right? Than like
Maybe, yeah.
if you,
At
like,
least
really-
stitches.
'cause that's like extra skin, right?
Thick head. Yeah.
It didn't. I mean, the thing though, like in the days afterwards, like it looked like a zombie bite. I have more photos of like day 3
Did it get
and day
infected?
5. No, but it just like bruised really bad. So it looked kind of, and the blood dries and it's like black and green but no, I felt worse, like ribs and chest and everything. It felt like I'd fallen, like somebody punched me in the chest.
Have
really
you
hard.
had any encounters with geese since?
I stay the fuck away from them.
Yeah.
There's been times I'm on the trail, like I'll see a pack of them and I turn around and go a different way.
Have I told my goose story on the podcast?
You have a goose story?
They're mean.
I want to hear it
These
now.
things are mean.
It's fucked up. I was driving. I was probably like 23, 25, something like that, and
you
I
got, like,
had
sad music you can play?
I had 2 girls in my car, and we were like going to like party or whatever with like our friends. It was like the first time I hung out with them, and the last. You'll know when you hear the story. But I was going down Sunbury Road in Westerville. It's 4 lanes wide. Just a little quieter.
Sounds like porn music.
I said
It
sad
is.
music. And yeah,
It's 4
He's
lanes
gonna have
wide.
sex with a goose.
So I'm talking to the girls. I'm fucking around. I look up, like the light's green, so I'm just going, and then I don't notice till I'm in the intersection that every other car is stopped, and I took out like 2 or 3 geese.
you just like mowed them down.
Dude,
Were they
in front
babies?
of
Were they
in front
babies?
of like 20 cars. There was probably like a little girl like, "Mommy!" Like, yeah. I just plowed right through, dude. And the girls were so pissed off at me, and they never hung out with me again.
And I've seen
You're the most amazing guy.
I've seen videos like that on YouTube of like someone recording like a highway or something where somebody just went through like
It's
a
40.
whole
It's
pack of
45
geese.
miles per hour on Sunbury Road. I was doing probably 45 miles per hour,
That's
plowed
fucked up.
right through. I mean, they just disintegrated. It was just,
Feathers.
yeah. In the moment, I felt horrible, but in retrospect,
How many
it's
did you
pretty
get?
funny. It was probably 2 or 3.
Did you just like hear them? It was like, like
No,
as you-
it was just like you see these heads like at the end of my hood, and then all of a sudden,
They're
wham,
decapitated.
dude, in front of so many people.
It was
Oh,
it was
man.
probably like a mom and babies
yeah, probably.
walking in a row.
Well, if it's a
still-
mom, dad's right there too.
I still
because
feel
they mate for
terrible.
life.
Oh.
Is it?
Yeah. So if you ever see one solo, that's the other one that Dusty didn't hit.
Is it illegal to just go kill a goose and like eat it? Not to bring up a
You got any sound
yeah,
sound
you got any
cues?
Trump, you got any Trump Haitian?
No, it's illegal. The
sound-
Canadian goose is protected.
It
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's a,
What? It's not endangered.
Well, if you kill a Canadian goose, you're gonna have some pissed off Canadians.
Are you being serious though? Is it actually
Yeah.
it is
protected?
protected
Yeah,
animal,
yeah.
So like you can't hunt it like you can hunt white-tailed deer or
You can't even be mean to them. No, I'm just kidding.
When I used to work in tech support at the Limited headquarters,
Yeah.
and they would send out like company-wide emails every once in a while. Like in the summer, they're out shooting like shotguns outside to like scare off the geese because there's like so many of them in the parking lots and the retention ponds and stuff. So they're like, there will be shotguns going off outside the building today, just so everybody.
can't you just light some fireworks like a shotgun?
Yeah,
You gotta
that's what they did. Yeah, just to scare them
throw
off.
a little party, man. Like,
Yeah.
But I mean, you could just get some Roman candles and just. I don't think guns have to be involved.
Are Roman candles legal in Ohio?
Yeah, you can buy them, but you can't light them off. So,
Yeah.
I think this last time I bought fireworks, you can buy anything you want in Ohio, but you like sign a waiver that says
Yeah.
I'm not going to light it here.
Take it somewhere else.
I'm taking it across state
Yeah.
lines.
Like,
Shotguns, on the other hand.
yeah, you can go ahead and shoot off shotgun in
Yeah.
the fucking rural or suburban bank parking lot to scare off a bunch of geese.
Yeah, I was thinking today. I don't know why this thought crossed my head, but I forgot about it. But it's apt for political conversations. If we think of this proposal for our wonderful political system.
Yeah.
You can't vote until you're 18. So the first 18 years of your life, you can't vote. what if the last 18 years you also can't vote? There's like a cutoff,
Right.
where it's like whatever the
Well, but how, you don't know when you're gonna die.
Well, if we
Well,
start
you-
killing people at a certain age, it would work fine.
yeah,
once you retirement age, what, 65?
I was gonna say whatever the average life expectancy is, just go 18 years, and women get like an extra 2 or 3 because their life expectancy is a little bit longer. But
It's got to be something that's more like, because that's not, some people live for fucking ever for no
Sure,
reason. Some
sure.
people
We do.
die.
Hey, we do it with licenses.
I think it
Yeah.
is. What's the retirement age? It's just be when you retire. Like when
I guess,
when
yeah.
you're done working and you've
Uber drivers will never be allowed to retire.
well,
Could you imagine if you had to take a test to vote the way you have to take a test to drive, where they make you like prove
I don't
that
think
you?
the test to drive is that hard.
Well-
I've been driving out here forever.
You have
Well,
to you have to
sucks.
prove that you can parallel park.
The learner's permit test is hard. You can't study for it. There's no book you can study for it.
Yeah,
You just have to know. And the written test is pretty easy too. And the maneuverability I failed because I ran through a stop sign, rolling stop.
so you really can't eat or hunt a goose at all. That's not.
No.
While we move on.
Yeah, that's what you're fascinated by? I'm like,
I
yeah.
just doesn't
Maybe Canadian geese. I'm sure there are other kinds of geese.
I can't
that are
believe
game.
that. I thought, especially in Ohio, like a hunting place like that, you can shoot deer. I understand. I'm not talking about like in the city limits, but like if you're out in the country where you can hunt and
You
you
can do whatever you want.
and you can't shoot a goose.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. We're gonna have to look this up.
Yeah, you're going to have to let go of that.
They're
But
protected under federal and state laws. It prohibits harming them, their nests, or their eggs without a permit from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service.
it's probably just based on like population numbers. Like with the deer, they overpopulate, and there needs to be
geese.
control. I guess the
Canada
there's
geese are
just-
considered game birds and can be hunted during specific seasons and under certain conditions. However, disturbing a goose nest or removing eggs without a registration number
Right.
is a federal crime.
Wow.
getting them geese
If I
eggs.
brought you a goose, though, could you cook it up for me at the?
I could probably throw it in the oven.
Yeah.
90 minutes.
You think
Be
that'd be
done.
enough?
Do you think it'd be
Enough
good?
No, it'd be disgusting. I imagine a Canadian goose because they eat like garbage.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
they're like-
right? Or
they're
what do they eat? They eat like raw
It's
grass.
it's just
grass.
a fatty bird. Like it's fat. It's somewhat like turkey, is what I've heard.
turkey or duck because duck's like greasy and like kind of
Gamey.
yeah.
I love duck. What do you?
no,
gamey?
I like duck, but
You know
it's
what?
like greasy, right? Isn't it?
No, duck fat though is like a you keep it and keep cooking with it. It's so good.
We get
can
all
use it with
kinds of
butter.
like press releases and media stuff like every
Yeah.
day, 1,000 emails a day from stuff, and almost always just delete all of it. But there was something today, I deleted it. I'm gonna go back and undelete it. This company was like, we have this new product and we'd love to send you samples to try, and it was duck jerky. And it had some name to it that was kind of fun. It was like duck sticks or something. I don't know what it was, but I'm gonna pull that email up when I get home and be like, yes, please send those samples to me, and I'll give them to you.
Oh yeah, give
Nice.
it to me.
Don't.
Have you had duck breasts and stuff?
I've
Like-
had duck, yeah.
Yeah,
It's not my go-to.
This is
I
a very
love it.
relatable conversation.
A lot of people out there. Well, it could be if you could hunt geese. That's my. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I had gotten paid and I was at Whole Foods or Fresh Time
Yeah.
or something. Saw some duck breasts. In
You got to
there.
have money to get some duck.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have money to get steaks too. Like,
It's like when my
Just decided
apartment,
to try it, you know?
My apartment when I lived in the Valley in LA, like there was one park that had a pond. It was the only park I saw in LA the whole time I lived there that had Canadian geese, and there was a bunch of them. There'd be like a whole 100 of them, just like tons of geese, but also tons of homeless people. And I was just like, why would you not? If I was a homeless person
Yeah.
with my dick out on the street, like I would be eating a goose, and I guess you go to jail. You wouldn't eat a goose.
You sound like you've done this.
No, I haven't. I've never hunted a day in my life, but
a homeless person or
being a
goose?
homeless person with your
Either.
dick out eating a goose.
sure it's been done.
Critical step. I've never like dressed a goose before. I mean, is that a skill that most homeless people have?
It's hard.
I
It's
would
hard.
imagine
They
it'd
have
be
those
easier to
little
get
necks.
You can't just, like-
$5 and go to Wendy's. That's a lot easier than like learning how to gut.
I'm not saying you have to like learn how to like make, but you can't just take a goose, cut its head off, and put it on a fire, and then
No, you gotta take the feathers off. You gotta take all the guts out.
right,
You
take all
gotta-
the feathers off.
yeah,
But
yeah.
you can't take all the feathers off and then just cook it. I'm not even saying take the guts out, but then cook it and then just pick the breast meat off without getting to the guts. Or does the guts like taint the meat or something?
I don't know. As
yeah,
long as
you
it
wanna
takes
pull
to
that
like
out.
roast a full turkey in the
Yeah.
oven. Speaking of Thanksgiving coming up, I don't know. Just like cooking a whole bird over an open flame seems like It's going to be char on the outside and raw on the inside.
Right.
So if you were homeless and you
I'd
were
just
hungry,
go to
you would just
Wendy's.
you would try to panhandle for $5, whatever.
And, yeah, and get a biggie bag.
What happens if you didn't get that though?
I guess.
I mean, you're a successful journalist, an entrepreneur, and all that stuff. So I guess you. So that's the thing is like you would be good at that. I would be terrible at getting money from people.
Oh.
So I would just resort
Whoa.
to like the
goose,
or digging through the trash.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. It sounds like you should try it.
It sounds
What,
like
cooking a goose.
Because it sounds pretty good.
Do
to
we
me.
do
It
the-
says goose meat has a rich, intense flavor that's often compared to beef.
Does anybody here have like a chef friend?
Some say it tastes like a rich,
We could
rare
get that.
roast beef,
That could be the
but
next
even
episode.
better.
Get a chef.
They say it's similar
Yeah.
to venison or antelope,
Ugh.
and that it's very tender.
well
Goose
now yeah.
tastes like venison or antelope. The bird tastes like a deer.
Goose has a lot of fat, but most of it is under the skin too, which keeps the meat juicy.
Yeah,
while
see,
cooking.
I think if you really want to do this as a homeless person, you've got to get a sous vide machine and really cook that goose slow.
Yeah, it says too. That
Put it next to the espresso machine.
It's trickier to cook than chicken or turkey too.
If Trump gets elected, do you think it'll be easier to cook a goose?
Air fryers for everyone.
Yeah,
That's
I-
what
yeah,
she-
I feel-
A goose,
legally,
a goose in
Trudeau.
every air fryer.
legally speaking, I feel like if he was in president, then it would just be like fair game.
All right, so you know how to cook a duck and you know how to vote. Is there anything else we need to teach him before we wrap this up?
I feel like we've learned a lot. You know,
Yeah.
I feel.
I learned Lucas's drinking limits.
What are you talking about? I'm still good to go. I gotta have another one of those.
He's no good
Fireballs.
after 3. No, I'm just kidding. How many have you had?
2.
Just 2?
2 fireballs. I feel like none of us are nervous about the election.
I felt good.
It's going to go either way. I mean, you know.
I'm gonna come.
But you don't think anything drastic is going to happen at the end of the day?
I don't think like a violent outburst. I don't
And
know.
what was the case with like
January 6th?
Yeah, January 6th.
I mean,
why'd that happen?
there was it was pre-planned. There was a lot like leading up to that I don't
Trump
think.
was also president at the time.
Yeah, I don't think things have been put in motion to lead toward. That didn't happen like as a result. That wasn't like, game day celebration gone awry. Like
Right.
that was pre-planned, premeditated.
Some great documentaries about that, too.
Yeah. I don't think anything like that's going to happen. I think if Trump wins, it's going to be 4 years of just a lot of bad shit. Constantly
he's
every
going to
day.
say the election was stolen if he lost, and we're going to be dragged through a lot of
Stop
bullshit
Stop
for a
the
while.
Steal on HBO, I think is the name of the one I just watched. Really good, but I've seen a couple.
Yeah.
Look at this guy.
But I don't know. I mean, I hope she wins, and I feel like a lot of the stuff that I've seen kind of points toward that.
Hope you're right.
But you never know. It really just depends on like 6 or 7 states.
And me remembering it's Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, can I
tomorrow.
say, just to bring it back to comedy for a bit, like having listened to the couple episodes of the podcast and hearing about, your story, coming, being here before, going out to LA, having your experiences and coming back, like as someone who's just a fan of comedy and like loves to see the scene here doing well, like I feel like the reason that we wanted to do the comedy festival and like get everybody on board and do this stuff is because there's like a lot of energy and a lot of people that really want to see things going well. And I mean, before the pandemic, it was really sort of like there was the Funny Bone, and then like, I mean, the theaters, like the downtown theaters, big acts coming through. But below that, it was really just like a lot of open mics, occasional events, but there's no like dedicated spaces. And so now with the Attic, #Don'tTell, like giving people new ways to access this stuff,
See.
it's going to take a long time to like change, like get the average Columbus resident to think of like
Pushing the boulder.
Yeah. Well, think of like going out to see comedy is the same way they think about like going out to a bar or going out to a restaurant or going out to a movie or whatever. Like the options just weren't there like 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago, and
You
now
gotta
the
thank
options
Lucas
are
for a lot of that too.
Yeah.
because He started the first open mic.
I didn't
Yeah.
start it.
That's
Yeah.
not true.
But I don't think, I mean, I don't go to open mics. Like I think the average comedy fan, I always equate it like I want to go watch a band play. I don't want to watch a band practice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't want to
yeah.
go watch a band rehearse in their garage. I just want to see their show at the show. So I think the average person isn't going to go to open mics. I mean, they play a role and they're important for developing the scene and giving people those rehearsal spaces. But like just being able to go to more shows and have more access and engage in different levels, like to me is just really exciting because I've been able to go to so many shows, local people, national acts coming through town. Like the past 2 years have been awesome. And so I just, I'm happy that everybody like wants to just continue to see that grow.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of people about just continuing that momentum. How do we keep going with it? How do we keep bringing in people? How do we bring in new people that spread the word that this place is awesome?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's what I love about it.
Yeah, and the goal that we sort of set from the outset too. Sorry, I'm like diving back into this as we're trying to wrap up, but the goal from the beginning too was like let's try and make Columbus more of a destination for touring acts that are coming through, and it's the same with bands. You know, if they're on tour, a lot of times they'll do a Cleveland and a Cincinnati show and skip Columbus and think like people will travel, but like plant a flag and say no, Columbus is a comedy city and people should be coming here so people can enjoy it. But then also like uplifting locals in the process too, because I think a lot of people take for granted they'll go see Bert Kreischer when he's at Nationwide Arena or like whatever, you know, big show at the Funny Bone, but you can go to the Attic on a Thursday night and see Neff's show. You can go to a random Don't Tell show and see like crazy, funny local people.
They have shows here at Leisure Club.
Yeah, and come to
they
Leisure
seat
Club.
about 35 people, and
It's
could
fun.
be awesome.
It's
Like,
a dope space. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of really funny people in Columbus. So
awesome.
yeah.
We're gonna have them all on the podcast, one by one.
Yeah.
Look at this guy.
I'll keep listening.
No, yeah, it's when I moved away to California, it was like as soon as I moved away, like the Attic opened up and Don't Tell was a thing. I was like, "Do you guys do this on purpose?" Like, take it like a personal.
All right, he's gone. Let's set it up.
Yeah.
Because like, dude, but you're right. Like, you know, and Dusty knows too, because he was doing stand up then. Like, it was mostly just like open mics. That's like you go to an open mic and it's fun and exciting. Everybody hangs out, which is still the case. You know, open mics in Columbus is like a hangout.
Yeah.
Really, for like all the comedians to get together and hang out. And occasionally there's like some people that are just hanging out at the bar that didn't know what was going on, and
Right.
but they're like playing along and they're into it and it's fun. But for the most part, it's just like a hangout for comics. But before COVID, it was like just open mics and
Yeah.
occasional bar shows that you don't get paid for.
Yeah. It'd be like at a wine place or something. Like I remember Camelot, was that the name of the place they used to do shows?
Yeah.
But-
Well, and like the space at Shadowbox, the up front, there was some stuff there. Jimmy Mack used to do.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, Nikki was doing shows up there. And then like Travis Haywisher has his stand-up from the Waist Up shows. And then like occasional stuff at Mad Lab. I remember going to when Travis Irvine recorded his CD there. That was like kind of a special thing to go to. But
Wasn't a lot going on. It was really just like
Yeah.
one group of friends putting on all the shows.
But also, back then, I don't think comedy was like the same vibe as it is now. It was like
Yeah.
it seemed like a little stuffy, a little like I don't know. It wasn't as fun. At least to me, it wasn't as fun. When I came back here after being gone for 3 years, it was like, and I go to open mics, like people are having fun, and like there doesn't seem to feel a vibe of like
I think back then it felt
not
like
getting along or
it
whatever.
felt like there wasn't space for you, kind of. That's kind of how I felt when I came up. I started in like 2013 or 14, and now it feels like I feel like everyone feels like there's plenty of space for everybody, and you know what I mean. You don't have to fit into one group's idea. Of
There's a
what
lot of
they-
cross and collaboration too.
Yeah.
You know, like
Hopefully, if people keep working together, it can be like the next summer for the festival. It can be really good.
It's gonna be fire. I can't.
I
wait.
think it's gonna
You can
be,
actually turn a profit. Hopefully.
I think there's some. I mean, you learned a lot in this one too. You know.
oh sure.
And I think there was a lot of good press. I think everybody had a good time.
And we're gonna do the podcast for it.
Let's do it.
Why not?
Yeah.
We'll do it
Yeah.
in costumes.
Yeah. No.
So you want to do it like live studio audience, like a live podcast
I mean,
recording?
we got some time to think about it, but yeah,
Yeah.
like I think I've always wanted to do a live podcast of
Did we ever
something.
do one at Shrunken? We talked about it.
No.
Back in the day.
I just don't know if I wanted to do a podcast like just the Essentials episode, or if it was like tonight would have been cool to do like an election. Like, remember when Trump won the first time? I don't know if you listened to the End of the World. I think it was called the End of the World podcast they did at the store. It was like just a panel of comedians like Bill Burr, Rogan, like, and the people, Bert Kreischer, all these comedians are coming in, and it was like, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours. It was funny. They were doing it the whole night of the election. But like something like, I don't know if I would do something like that or just regular.
I think it'd just be like a Just the Essentials
Right.
with like comedians from the festival and just like a quick fire like we normally do. Just
Revolving door of comedians, like
little-
the last episode we did when I moved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
only give them like 15 minutes and then boom, send the next one in. You know.
That'd be cool.
Give them the light.
And no one says no to a podcast.
What do you think Jeff would have been like if he was here tonight?
Annoying. No. No, he would have been funny. We would have had some good laughs, and my
Yeah.
ribs would probably hurt more, so it's good that
That's
he wasn't
true.
here.
Oh, it's glad we could be less funny.
We wouldn't have been able. Yeah, it was definitely less funny, Jeff. I'll give you that because Jeff wouldn't have not understood any. I barely understood any of the political talk, and Jeff would have been like just completely.
They're raising the
over
price
his
of
head.
McDonald's.
Yeah. Hopefully, we've educated some listeners.
Yeah, who knows? If you vote, is this coming out tonight?
It might be late tonight.
No pressure. I'm just
tomorrow.
asking.
It's kind of a test to see if I
well,
can get it done.
If you get to listen to this before you vote and there's still time to vote, even if I don't vote, go ahead and vote, right? I should put that. Vote for whoever you want. I'm not going to tell you to vote for. I'm not going to fucking endorse somebody. I'm just saying vote. Just go vote, right? Isn't that the thing?
So with this podcast, we're not officially endorsing a candidate.
I'm not endorsing.
I thought we are. We all agreed on RFK.
Yeah, RFK.
God damn it. Now you're going to make me vote for Kamala.
But you can write in anybody you want, correct?
Yeah. I
Horn.
think there's some database or some list out there that actually shows the most popular write-in names, and it's always like Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck, and yeah. We need to get a better number one name.
Really?
Bernie Sanders.
In the past, those have been like the most popular. You know, when you just think about people writing random things. Yeah.
We should all write in Bernie.
I think I would write him like Morgan Freeman. I think I would,
There you go.
I would follow him as president.
You'd probably be appalled by his political views.
Probably not. What do you think? Who do you think I am?
I don't know his political views.
You know mine?
I don't know.
Do I have any?
Morgan Freeman's an amazing actor who's been working at it a long time. He probably didn't study a lot about political ideology.
Sounds like me. Sounds great. Sounds like we get along.
Motherfucker that ever lived.
My understanding is your number one political agenda item is to decriminalize the killing and eating of geese in parks for homeless people. You want to feed the hungry.
I do care about.
That's the Democratic side.
Every apartment I've had, except for the current one I have now, has involved homeless people in the vicinity of it, and so I feel for them.
Yeah.
And I feel if a goose is just walking around and it's gonna hurt my friend Walker while he's out trying to have a nice bike ride with his friends.
That's right.
Fuck that goose. Eat it.
Yeah.
Lucas stands by the liberal doctrine of using government powers to kill geese to give to homeless people.
You're the most amazing guy.
All right. Well, thanks for coming, Walker. I think it's been good.
It's
I think
fun.
we've learned a lot.
Yeah.
You
I think
know?
we have.
So get out there and vote, or whatever.
All right.
USA.